Hey, everybody, welcome to Squatch Talk. I'm Pat, and we are back. A lot of you may not know because I really have no way to communicate with YouTube directly without uploading, produced content. Anyway, it's only been a week. I missed Tuesday's show, which bothered me greatly because Sunday night on the 4th, fun weekend, great weekend. I did a full send with my drink into the computer and it shut down, and that's being dealt with right now. Whatever. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I lost my computer, at least for now. And so I wasn't able to do Tuesday's show. My trusty iPhone will not shake hands with StreamYard. Unfortunately, I've a bit of kryptonite for the i brand Apple. It's older phone. It's a 6, so I can't use the phone. So we tried Kim's phone last night and it worked. So here I am for now. That's what's been going on. The Facebook people know this because I was able to communicate that to them. But God, I've gotten like 50 new subscribers in the past week. So, like, you know, nobody knew what was going on. So anyway, here we are. Thank God I was able to get back on air for now. And here we are. So, so what's going on? I'm going to bring the guys in whenever they file in. But for now, so like last night, I was supposed to be on a panel and I couldn't get on there because of my issues. I tried with my iPhone, I tried with my iPad. I was sitting right next to the Wi-Fi. I couldn't get on this panel, which was on Beast TV, about the Patterson-Gimlin film. And it was a great panel. Like those guys, they brought people in one at a time and gave them like 10 or 15 minutes to talk about, what grabbed their attention, when and what grabbed their attention with the Patterson-Gimlin film. Pretty much from, childhood to adult. And it was a real interesting discussion. I beg everyone to go check that episode out from last night. Because the case was made in a way I've never heard it made before, and it was brilliant. It's brilliant what Mark and Larry came up with to have that discussion, and the whole time it was just a one-on-one. They'd bring somebody in, then get to the next panel member, and I thought that was brilliant, and it was great. Go check it out on Beast TV, I believe. I get confused between Mark and Larry's channels sometimes, but I think it was on the Beast TV. YouTube search Beast TV. It'll come right up. And I was supposed to be on that, and I couldn't get in. So it killed me not to be a part of that show. Although they knocked it out of the park, they didn't need me. So yeah, just go check that out when you can. It's good stuff. I did end up giving my response, like my segment to that on, I had to go Facebook Live. It was the only thing I could do with the iPhone, was Facebook Live. So I went on Facebook Live. I kind of gave my, what I would have said about that segment. And some of those guys saw it. So that's cool, man. Anyway, please check that out. Beast TV, Patterson-Gimlin film discussion. It was just about the merits of the film itself, like visually, so it didn't involve controversy or anything like that. It was just, personal connections to the film. And there were a couple of people on that panel that know Bob. Yeah, Batmom, I can read chat. Yes. it'll be a pain in the butt for me to respond to it like in chat, but I can talk to chat, and I'm not sure. Let's see, can I highlight? Let's. Oh, we did. It worked, but then I have to unhighlight real quick before it gets away from me. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about the controversy. I've walked away from that. I'll just say this real quick about it. Steve Calls made a public apology to Russell Accord, and with that, I'm out. Like, yeah, I never wanted to like at all get sucked into any kind of fourth person involved in that controversy. So, um, that's between those three dudes at this point. My only thing was to address the accusation itself. You know, was you know, is this all true? Is there any truth to a confessed hoax? And I addressed that, and it very quickly came out, almost immediately. Nope, from all parties involved. No, everyone says nope, that's not true. So I'm done with that one. No, yeah, there was no hoax confession. All parties involved say nope, complete denial. Yep. Yes. So the Patterson Gimlin film is saved for now, right? Um. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that tonight. Is that was not a thing. It was never a thing, and I don't care whose fault or what was said or what. I don't care. I'm not. The only thing I ever cared about with that was, is this true? Is there some kind of truth to this? Let's get to the bottom of it. And now it's been gotten to the bottom of. And I hope that this show expedited that. I do. I hope that me doing the show I did on Friday expedited that. Anyway, hopefully I'll get notifications when the guys come in. I think we're going to talk about. We were discussing earlier in group chat. I think it was Patrick that came up with the sort of like kickoff topic, which is, what evidence do we have? So how about this? Let's focus on what we have instead of what we don't have, if that makes any sense. I love to focus on better ways to get to better what we don't have, but yeah, I think it's important to actually talk about what we do have, which would be roughly this. We probably have some hairs. I'd say likely. We do, there are some Sasquatch hairs laying around somewhere. We got tracks, lots of them. Form of physical evidence. Visual evidence, we don't have a lot of that, but we have some of it. Hard to tell. Like at the end of the day, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. Even the Patterson Gimlin film is still debated, although I file that one away into the conclusive category. There's your visual evidence right there. So we have some visual evidence, and of course, anecdotal, right? Lots of anecdotal. Anecdotal is off the charts. I say easily tens of thousands of actually recorded anecdotal accounts. Tens of thousands. Probably find a couple of 100,000 more people if they were ever willing to give similar anecdotal accounts. So that's what we have, and I guess that's what we'll focus on. If I'm missing something, audio, I guess. Audio. So surely we've got audio. If you sort through all the Bigfoot audio, some of that stuff's real. And I'm fairly, I mean, I'm pretty compelled by the, Ron Moorhead stuff, the Sierra Sounds, as it's called. I'm fairly compelled by that. It's sort of the PG film version, like audio version of, equivalency, I guess you would say. And I do find that compelling and interesting. Doesn't mean it's real, you know. With audio, that I think the problem with audio ultimately is that it's just no way to get to that conclusive stage. Like I don't know whatever tips the balance with audio to where it can be studied into a conclusive category, especially in 2021. Um, the beauty of the Sierra sounds is that it's verifiably comes from the 70s. So the technology that existed then is what you're hearing. But in 2021, you could do a lot of things with audio and cover it up too. You can cover your tracks with audio. So audio is sort of one of those things I don't really pay attention to. Ironically enough, being that both my encounters were auditory, um, and I'm pretty convinced at least one of them was a Bigfoot. But it's a little bit of irony there. But I don't pay attention to audio. I know people a lot. There's certain elements of Bigfooters that are really really into it. They want those parabolic mics out there. They want to pick that stuff up, and they have their reasons. I get that, you know. Can I like the hair and miss the hair at the same time? Sure. I always joke with people. I'm like, if I saw a Sasquatch jump over a fence and leave some hair behind, I'd just be like, oh, interesting. Like, like I had a little back and forth with, one of the guys earlier about hair because I'm really jaded on it, and a part of that is personal for me because I wasted a good debate, a really good debate by letting the two skeptics drag me down into the uber minutia of hair when it comes to Bigfoot. And of course, I'm having to. Oh, I no, I know Feldon. I'm having to do all this recall and try and recall all kinds of knowledge that just barely stuck to my brain about hair and Bigfoot hair. And we spent 30 minutes of the freaking debate, swimming around in the deep minutia of hair and wasted all the good stuff. And I'm like, who? I finally shut it. I'm like, I don't care about hair. Let's move on. But by that point, it was time. It was almost time for Q&A. So I never got to talk about the Patterson Gimlin film. I never got to bring out any of my big guns for that debate because I let those two skeptics like drag me down into the deep, deep, deep minutia of hair, Bigfoot hair. So that's why I don't, that's part of the reason why I just don't care about hair because I realized that night it's not important. It's just not that important. I'm sorry. Where's it gotten us so far? Like I said, there's Bigfoot hair laying around somewhere, you know, in a plastic bag somewhere. Where's it gotten us? Nowhere. Nobody cares. And it's expensive. It's actually quite expensive to properly sequence. So don't care about hair. Why focus on a teeny tiny little part of a Sasquatch? These things are big, big things, man. Focus on that. So yeah, what else is going on in the Bigfoot world? These bullshit artists coming on some shows that are otherwise enjoyable and people worshiping them. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I think any kind of worship in the Bigfoot world is not healthy. Like, there should be no celebrities in the Bigfoot world. None. Yet there are. But whatever. That's just human nature. Because a lot of the Bigfoot world is is entertainment based. So whenever you get into the entertainment business, you're gonna have fans. You know. Yeah, I know, Steve. I mean, we've talked about this, but a proper study requires proper funding, and for the people studying sequencing it to do it properly. And Meldrum talks about this way above my head, even. So I reference him, what he has to say about hair and why it just doesn't mean anything right now, because nobody is going to sequence it properly until there's funding for it and a drive, an ambition, you know. And that's cool, dude. I mean, if there's, if there's people in this world that want to focus on that, fine. Like, I guess it might be easier to find Bigfoot hair than capture a Bigfoot alive. Cool, Strangeland. Yeah, something going on in the skies. That's for sure. There's some weird stuff happening in the skies. Don't know what it is though. Hopefully, it's something with a freaking American flag on it. To be honest with you. Mm. Well, Steve, you're popular in chat, man. Why don't you jump on the show? You guys did get a proper invite, right? Let me check. Yeah, you did. Mm. Yep. So we're talking about trail cams for a second. Like, I'll leave that up and see. So weird. This is so different. Oh my god, I have no idea. Mystery guest. This is my mystery guest. Well, it can't be that much of a mystery because I only sent the invite to a certain group. Bam. How do I do this? Add to stream. Yes. And hopefully there's audio.
What up?
Hey, what's up, man? Okay, I can hear you. Is there any feedback, chat, or is there any feedback for you, Patrick?
No, no.
Okay, there's a slight delay between me seeing you speak and hearing it, just ever so slight. I can live with that, but I wish it was louder. Anyway, so what's up, dude? How you doing?
It's been the longest short week ever.
Word, I hear you. I've had one of those this week too, like a long short week. You know, like just like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mind has a wedgie right now for all the
Uh,
for all the problem solving crap I've seen this week.
well, cool, man. Well, here's another problem for you to solve. Do you see the question? I
Let's
can read
see,
it.
Pat. The one thing that has always bothered me is that we don't have a good trail cam pick. Why not a juvenile? They aren't as smart as adults yet, and we are speculating they send infrared. All right, from tracking them, uh, juveniles aren't just tossed out into the wind to go learn hard knocks. They are watched and trained very well. Also, to address the trail cam footage, I just had one dodge IR. Okay, one come up to a coyote den. The IRs went off, and I caught like that much of something, and I tracked it, so I know it's there. I'm not speculating what was there. Okay, and it dodged IR when the IR came on. So I'm not speculating they see IR. To me, it's a more of a high probability they see IR. It's not a just a general throw it out there. I think they do. I have them dodge IR on trail cameras, and I have yet to hide a piece of electronic equipment out there and have them not find it. Okay, I've done lots of experiments with recorders, trail cams, LED lights, LED flashlights, LED lanterns, and I've never put one out there not and have them not pick it out. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll say this: there has to be a reason because trail cams have been around what since the '80s, basically. Like, and
actually,
yeah,
the first trail cam was invented, I think, late 1890s. It was a tripwire camera, but as
sure.
far as modern trail, and of course, tripwire cameras was used, throughout all wars that we've waged: World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, all of them, for surveillance. But you're also lending that to them a certain amount of ignorance, and I find no ignorance in them.
Huh. Interesting. Well, there's plenty of trail cams, and of course, the vast majority of them are just from hunters that use them as a tool, right? And no good results from that. So that's data, and that's data that goes back at least three decades, if not more. And
Actually, one thing I would like to see from Patrick's last experiment, I have seen the dark pictures that look like something had avoided the camera. Do you have a light picture of that camera looking out the den, like what probably triggered when you picked up the camera?
Yeah.
That would help to overlay the field of view and see what was there.
Okay. I actually have video. It's actually video from that camera in the den.
Well, yeah, it worked that time.
Yeah, it worked on me. but
Felden T's asking, is it possible they hear it? And to that I say, you almost never hear an eyewitness even say anything about their ears. Their ears are never hardly ever seen. So it seems to me they have really small ears. I can't imagine why they would have extraordinary hearing. I mean, they can't have extraordinary everything, guys, right? There's got to be some kryptonite there somewhere.
You're assuming something.
Well, they probably could see Patrick setting up the trail cam and that whole experiment. So that's always a good possibility, especially when people set up their trail cams. You can actually, in some cases, see where the person walked and set it up. And I'm sure they probably picked that up so quick. And but I think that's probably one reason why they might avoid the trail cams is because they probably see people setting them up. That's why probably got to be more nonchalant about setting it up so they don't see that you're up to something, because they probably just avoid an area that they feel that you're going to do something that might try to trap them.
Well, I recently was reading a study that actually looks at sound emissions from trail cameras. As an electrical engineer, I'd say there's absolutely no reason any of these things should make any sound whatsoever. But they do have sound emissions, and I conclude partly it's from cheap electronics. There's no physical reason from the electronics that you should hear the whine of the good old photo flash, but you hear the whine as that charges up for the xenon tube to flash. What you're hearing there is that there's a coil that's charging up high voltage, and it's causing a mechanical vibration, and you're hearing that mechanical vibration. That's the whine you hear with those. I have no idea why a trail cam would put out sound in the 6 to 8 kilohertz range, but that's eminently audible, and that's what some of them do.
When mine triggers, I hit at 30 feet.
Yeah.
But
now, I wouldn't expect them to hear that at 30 feet.
Yeah. But Brent brought up a good point as far as them watching you set it out. I guard against that, and it's very hard to track a tracker. So I guard against certain things in certain ways. I do believe they do watch people put out trail cams. I believe, I know they study you. They know you use the area. They know you go in hunting. Okay, they know you have technology. Their observations of us, and they can be several hundred yards away and watch you, and I truly believe they can read my hat at 400 yards in the dark. That's how good their eyes are. So, I guard against that using topography, because I'll start where I'm gonna set up at, and I'll walk a circle tracking all the way out to where the topography, they'd have to be pushed way back behind topography to get back away from me. And that I'm paying attention as I'm setting up, and I'm kill scenting everything and guarding the best I can. But I still come up with feathers instead of chicken. So
well, I'll say this.
Larry's YouTube asks some questions that are good questions. The problem is the best answer for a lot of those questions is we don't know. But one of the big problems in this village, I'll say village rather than community, is people make up answers based on what they want to believe or want to think is true. And that's not really a good way to go about solving problems. Right.
And I'll say this about trail cams, just to sort of move away from it now. There was an interesting study done, and I could probably dig it up, about trail cams and chimpanzees. And the data showed conclusively that chimpanzees learned to avoid them. Over a certain amount of time, the chimpanzees evolved and learned to avoid them. They were very weary of them. I'm not trying to transpose that onto Bigfoot, but it's an interesting experiment that was done, with real primates, and with that kind of that result, that they actually, saw something in them that they didn't like and wanted to avoid them. So, just wanted to throw that out there. And
I'm sure chimpanzees don't know that what a trail cam does, how it takes a photo, store it, so we could review it later. I'm sure they have no clue with that, but they just, instinctively learn to avoid those type of situations where it seems something shady is going on.
Yeah, and that was
if only people could do that.
Mm. What's going on that I don't know about? All right.
Okay, Patrick, first crack up of the evening.
And we have.
I wish we could pull up Pat's Squatch picture. I made him into a Squatch. I laughed so hard.
I can't. I can show it here. I think. Wait a second. No, that was. What? How did you do that? Wait, I can't remember. How did that happen? I'm confused.
You posted a picture of how frustrated you looked, and so I turned you into a frustrated Sasquatch.
That's right. You sent it to me. Right.
It's on the group chat.
Oh God, it's light years away.
Yeah.
There's some good ones in that group chat.
I fall asleep and I wake up and there's 89 unread messages, and I'm like, yeah, now I gotta go back and read all this, catch up. And most of it's these two down at the bottom talking about Bigfoot tree.
Yeah, we have interesting group discussions. That's for sure.
Oh, it's fascinating, and then I got to throw some humor in there, which is normally just silly, but yeah.
Well, what? Yeah, you do. So I don't know. I did sort of talk about our, our little idea, to kick off the show with. I mean, do you guys want to talk about? I went over some of it. Do you guys want to talk about, where are we at? What do we have right now? And what's the?
I would like to see I know we've gone in depth on a track, but have we taken all tracks, put them together, and look at all similarities, and established a baseline that they all share, and then take that and compare that to human tracks and find all the differences between their species and ours. And I've picked
Mulder's office.
Yeah. I've noticed differences, but there's not like there's an in-depth study on it. It's just what I notice as I'm tracking, and I can tell the difference between this track and another track. But if someone went in depth on that would certainly shine a light, because if you have a non-human primate, relic hominoid, with different feet than ours, how can you and how can you say that it's not real? How do you get around that? Especially when you have so many of them with so many. You can say, well, this person mistakenly saw something, but if that person was at the site and they took these tracks and they are not human tracks, and these tracks share the same morphology as 10,000 other casted tracks, okay, and you put it beside a human track, how do you get around that?
Well, that's part of what Meldrum does. That's part of his expertise. I think you could get the same sort of thing actually with hair. Again, you'd have to have someone who's interested enough, who's an expert in primate hair morphology. Mm-hmm. Overall, though, you can tend to tell relatively easily between primate hairs and any other species. And if the psych study actually looked at the hair before grinding them up and trying to extract DNA, they'd have probably been able to identify most of them before going to DNA. The DNA would have just been for confirmation. What Meldrum has mentioned is that Sasquatch hair reliably do not produce mitochondrial DNA from the medulla. So that's a negative test availability to look at least in one direction for determination. But the actual morphology and actual comparison of many samples of human hair and many samples of potentially subjects' hair has not been done to any of our knowledge. If it has been done, the only one that I think would be capable of doing that with all the information background would be someone who helps out the Olympic project, and they don't share information.
Right. But I wonder with the tracks, I wonder what the number of like cast tracks that Meldrum's either like cataloged or I guess cataloged in whatever way he thought this, this is authentic. Right. I wonder what that number is. I want to say it's somewhere around 300.
I think that's the number of casts he has in his lab, in his office.
Hey,
Okay.
has somebody else like verified the stuff that Jeff has been presenting? Like somebody like that's in his field of study that backs up his assessment of these said prints. I mean, he can't be the only one who deals with foot morphology and primate stuff like that.
I think he'd be the one to ask. Get him on.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting question, because it's like you figured that there would be a whole team of scientists backing him up saying, hey, yeah, this is right. This is amazing. Wow, this is great. But I've never heard of anybody actually verifying his claims and backing up some of the stuff he's presenting. I was curious.
Yeah. So in answer to Phil Key's statement there, the reason it's inconclusive is no one's done a reasonable study to compare populations of samples. There's nothing to compare to.
Exactly.
All we can really say is we have a hair that doesn't look typical for human, but we don't have enough information to say it's not human.
I think until we dart one and get a certified hair sample off of it to have something to compare to, I don't think hair, as important as DNA and hair is, I just don't think we're going to know what we're looking at until we have.
All we need are tricorders and phasers.
Yeah. Hey, and if I had a transporter, I'm telling you, this guy would have one in his living room.
He wouldn't have a living room for long.
No, you'd see a pat-sized hole going right through the brick wall.
I don't know. eDNA is where it's at, though. That's going to be a really good, way to verify if there's the target species in the area or not. But unfortunately, that's very costly to have done.
I agree. We have
this
to
time. It'll come down as it's used more often in more studies.
Hopefully, but then it'll be like because I was used on Loch Ness, and I kind of pretty much put the final nail in the coffin there. It's possible to have that here with the Bigfoot study, especially with all these people claiming they're at these certain areas like Area X and.
Well, there are plausible things that people might mistake most of the Nessie sightings for. There are a lot of Sasquatch sightings that are good Class A direct line of sight sightings, which mean if there's not DNA, then what the heck did they actually see? What did Patrick see? What chased Patrick out of the woods?
Did Patrick see one? What? Huh? What?
It was a kangaroo.
Escaped kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you live.
It was a kangaroo in a Sasquatch costume.
There you go.
I believe it.
It definitely was not a kangaroo. What I've seen, it's damn disturbing, but it's real, and it's out there, and I think more people have the minute little encounters and dismiss it as nothing, like I did, I guess. It's easy to do. But
I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Got to be, right?
The subtle encounters where you don't even know you're having an encounter, but you are.
Well, it's just, you're sitting at a fire and something darts behind you behind a tree. And you're like, and it sits there and watches you for about 2 hours. And you've had this creepy feeling and you just shake it off. Yeah. just me in the woods. You know, I imagine that's very common, and no one knows what's there.
I agree. And
There's
until
also
you,
the fact that a lot of people see shadows in the woods and they want it to be a Sasquatch.
yeah, that happens.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's so many.
When I was,
There's so many people. That,
you know,
so many people that spend time in the woods that don't think anything is Sasquatch or would even think it's silly, you know, and then and have like the 20 things happen to them that they just kind of make it cock their head until finally the thing just steps out from behind a tree and goes, "Look, I'm here, dude. You need to go." We've heard that kind of story more than once. I mean, that's kind of Patrick's story, and like Harry Arnold's story, and we hear a lot of that from people, and then they feel like they need to warn all their buddies. You know?
Well, you're afraid. You wouldn't be afraid if it was good, so it must be evil.
well,
We make what we're afraid of evil.
your first thought is, I need a psychiatrist because I'm seeing things, and then next it's total fear and panic, and then it's denial, and then it's bargaining, and then finally you have nothing else left to do but say, "Hey, that was real."
That sounds
then
like
you're
the
like,
7 steps of grief.
That's the seven. That's the 7 symptoms of me waking up in the morning.
7 symptoms of seeing a Sasquatch.
But ultimately, for me at least, you have to know they're there, and I don't care if you believe me. I'm not here to make you believe Bigfoot's real. I'm here to communicate some things I've seen that are warning signs that if you get in a position, you start seeing these same things, back out and don't get hurt. You know, and you can call me. I can have someone say you're full of it. You're silly. You're a liar. You're making it all up. But when that hunter's out in the woods, he starts seeing tracks, starts seeing things broke over, start hearing grunts, hearing footfalls at 90 yards out circling him. That piece of information is going to pop up in his head as a flag and say, okay, and it could help him. And that's what I want to do. I hope it helps him.
Have you ever thought of just hanging around? Like, you know how they want you to leave, but you just kind of hang around and, you know.
I have.
And just hang out and see kind of what they do. Because, you know, I've never actually heard of a Bigfoot researcher getting hurt by a Bigfoot or gone missing. So,
That's
you know,
because you never heard of them again.
But you do hear people go missing.
And what Steve said was always in the back of my mind when I'm out there. Because, you know, you never hear of, oh, wow, he almost killed me. Well, that's because, or, you know, he didn't make it back. But, and someone during a show one time posted, only the smart researchers make it back, you know. But I have hung out, and I'm going to tell you, I am not comfortable around them, but I have hung out, and it is.
Why aren't you comfortable around them?
I don't trust them. I don't know what operating system, they're on. Okay, I can be around you, and I know you have a certain amount of humanity trained into you. These aren't human. They have, you know, I don't know what humanity is trained into them other than survival, which is, you know, when it comes to survival, you are either a threat or an asset. Mm-hmm. And an asset can be anything from a friend to food. Okay.
Well, it's really interesting that they don't kill people more often, because if you look at like some of the lost tribes in the Amazon, you know, especially the one, the real famous one where the dude recently got killed trying to go teach them Christianity, and they kill people on sight, you know. And it's interesting that Bigfoots don't have that sort of behavior in them, and if so, you know, if not, I mean, why are they like that? Why don't they go after more people more often? Like, you know,
I can answer that.
People.
Well, here's the thing: if they did, the press would be covering the stories of disappearing people, and they'd be covering them a lot more often. And even the press would figure out there's some sort of a pattern going on here.
Yeah.
Bat Mom. Bat Mom's creeping me out.
Those lost tribes, they don't do that anymore. So they may do it once. They learn real quick. You don't do that ever again.
Well, I found that they operate on a set of rules. Okay, when it comes to engaging us. And I've had them pick out me as the bad guy of the group and address me only with 2 other people there. So they have rules. And I know they respect life. They have to respect life.
There's some humanity, or some bridge to humanity there of sorts, of them not just ripping you apart. If you say
not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily.
A gorilla will just rip you apart if you go approach it.
I mean, if
but
there's
you
survival,
can go hang out with a troop of gorillas. Have the silverback come and just sit right by you. Also,
I'll tell you the guy that they
won't just rip you apart.
Remember Grizzly Man that was living with the Grizzlies and they were his friends?
I think he thought that they were his friends because
they were his friends. They were his friends until they got hungry. Okay, I kind of have the same weariness about, if these guys are eating, because that's the first thought that goes through my mind. Other than holy crap, the first thought goes through my mind is, I hope he's eating. I hope he's not hungry. Because I've read several accounts from history of these things eating people, and it's just history. It's just accounts. But they were also painting cave drawings of them and calling them real. Okay, now I've seen the cave paintings and I know they're real. So why would they be wrong about them chasing someone down and eating them? I can't say they do. I wasn't there.
It doesn't seem like it's a common trait that they possess.
Maybe not common, but how lucky you feel out there.
People too.
Well, I think they've learned over the last couple hundred years that when they do, a lot of people with those bang sticks go out and make a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And before we were really interested in recording them and understanding there was something there, we probably killed a few of them for just that sort of reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying they're evil. I'm not saying they're man-eaters. I'm saying that they're, you're never 100% safe around something, around any animal, really.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Is a rattlesnake evil? I mean.
Yeah.
It'll bite you.
The thing is, when you put intelligence into the mix, I think that makes them more dangerous because they can think tactically.
And they do.
Sure. I mean, just like a mountain lion, can out tactic a human being.
Well, animals use tactics to hunt other animals too, and it's all part of the game of life.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some people out there that even with all of Patrick's confidence, Patrick would be almost as uncomfortable with some of those people as he would with some of these creatures.
Yeah. No, I hear you there.
I like animals way more than I do people.
I actually carry a gun more for people, worried about people that you would run into, the shady people out there, cooking meth or whatever, then running into a Bigfoot or a bear, needing it on that, because I've ran into a lot of bears and they just always take off. But, with people out there, man, I don't know. That's one of my biggest worries out there is just some rando person. And I go to remote areas. It's just never know. There's been some stories of people hurting people.
One of some of the most disturbing encounters I had was that they had a question in their mind and they pushed until they got an answer. Okay. It's not like we interacted, interchanged, and that was it. When I was done squatching, it's over. Just because you're done squatching doesn't mean they're done. they'll come after you and they'll corner you until whatever answers in their mind is answered. And only then will they back off and leave. And it's that can be extremely nerve-rattling.
Well, isn't it within that moment where the research of the creatures can actually be done is within those moments of fear of those interactions?
Yeah, you're paying attention. You're paying attention of everything it's doing, what it's doing, why it did this instead of that, why did it do that instead of this, and how did it move, and what approach did it come in? Did it come in downwind? Did it come in upwind? Did it come in crosswind, uphill, downhill? How did it, everything as it's moving, you're paying attention, but in the back of your head, you got a box with all the fear stuff in it, and the hinges are bulging and it's rattling, and you're trying to contain it.
Oh yeah, I can imagine the adrenaline rush that would shoot through your body.
Yeah, but Patrick, that's you. Most people have the fear box open, and the paying attention to what's going on box is the one that's closed.
Well, that's why you get some reports that are probably misidentified and remembered wrong, or recalled wrong, and are those situations right there where they're going into the woods fearful, and they're just like, like you say, their fear box is just everywhere.
Well, if you can't close the lid on that box, don't go in the woods.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to condition myself for a Bigfoot encounter, face-to-face, because I think within that moment there is when, the first contact of sorts maybe could start happening, or whatever, type of thing. And, you got to keep your cool, not do anything stupid as far as reach for something that, like a gun or a camera, or run away or anything. You got to sit there, figure out, what's the best way to handle what you're being presented with, and not, be fearful.
But well, I design. I design
the primal. You
I design.
The primal. What did I keep hearing here? The primal.
I think it's the feedback.
Okay.
You got headphones?
No,
Where's your headphones?
I can't do headphones. I can try, but I just tried. I would have to change the settings, so maybe I can. But my there's a primal thing that you can't forget about, right? Like, when a bear comes charging at you, you're going to react a certain way. You can't really train. Maybe some people have trained themselves in that way, but the only way you train yourself to react a certain way around a bear is to deal with that many, many times, and there's nothing else to replace that. So same thing with Squatch. And I do know something about this, man, because I had a very strange primal reaction my woodcock encounter that to this day I can't explain. The primal reaction I had, it was very weird, actually. But yeah, so I mean, good luck, Brett. I hope you can break bread with them or whatever, right?
Well, I'm not looking at breaking bread or playing kickball with them. I would just like to be in the moment more than most would want to be in. Because I think that's our goal, to come out here is learn more about them, and the only way to learn more about them is to be close to them, to be in observing type of fashion with them, and that's what real research is. Right now, all of us, we're just investigating a phenomenon. That's what we're doing. Well, Patrick, maybe a little bit more, but that's what we're doing right now. Is we're all investigating a phenomenon.
If you get a chance to play kickball with one, do it. Okay.
Hey, I do got glow in the dark blow up beach balls that I have that I want to set out and do experiments with, but I just haven't done it yet.
What do you
that'd be cool, man.
Bouncing around in the woods 50 yards out.
Dude, I would be loving it. My heart would be pounding, but that's what I'm there for, man. That adrenaline. I don't know. It's addicting in a way. That fear of what's out there, that the possibility of what's out there, what's behind the next bend in the trail, or the game trail that you're going down, or what was that movement, that tree break, or that sound, that whatever. It's very exhilarating to be out there in that moment of possibly being around them. It's a really amazing feeling. But I mean, I don't know if I am around them and I'm just psyching myself out or whatever. It's fun.
Well, it's so easy, and I did it for a long time. Something happened, I'd say there's no way. I'd push it back, and I would only deal with this part of it. There's no way. There's no way. No way. And finally, that had to go. I had to put that to bed. This is really what it is. It just takes a long time, and that's why I talk about the psychology of people trying to wrap their heads around retraining what they know. You know, when you were born and raised in a man-subsidized system, educated by man, and we know everything there is to know about everything out there, and science is the god of know-all, and they have everything, and you got a fossil record. When you start digging into it, and you realize that the fossil record only covers about that much. Okay. And when you're out in the woods a lot, spend a lot of time out in the wilderness, and you're finding things that aren't that people call you abnormal for. You know, a normal person inside the man-subsidized system will tell you you're abnormal for thinking or seeing or think you're seeing these things, even though the reality of the situation is right in front of you when you're there. So that's part of the psychology that I've been studying, and why.
And a big part of that psychology is they would rather not have it there. So their best conclusion is it's not real.
Yep. Smile, Brent.
Yay!
There you go.
Friday!
There you go. Now you
Just think, those other people are out there down by Mount Rainier, and they're probably going to have a really intense encounter to tell us about.
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed. I'm kind of bummed I couldn't make this weekend, but next weekend doing 3 days, then doing the Bumping Lake, and then I don't think I'm going to go to that Squatch Fest.
Yeah, but you know what always happens is they have the big intense encounter, and then after that there's nothing.
I'm hoping for something. I'm hoping.
Brent,
I'm hoping to, I'm just going to go out there nighttime. I'm not going to do the light experiment thing anymore. I'm just going to go out there and just hang out, and see if they want to come hang out, I guess. I mean, I can't really go. I'm never going to track one down or go, the forest here is insane.
Try Patrick's knock experiments.
I do that when I go out. I try that, but I haven't had a response. Doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means I haven't had a response, or it means that they're not there. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't had any luck with the single knock one. But I don't know. I'm going to keep trying it, and just try a bunch of different stuff and see what kind of works. And I think ultimately it's going to come down to it's going to be a dusk, dawn, evening type of way to go about it. I think that's when they probably feel more comfortable is around those time frames.
Well, also depending on the heat, they will wait until the coolest hours, and you can bet they have the coolest hours mapped out. When to move. They don't like moving when it's hot. But I hope you have a fake coyote den or fake bear den experiment scheduled with a camera and some kind of scent, whether it's bear urine or coyote urine, because that has probably been one of the most exciting, easily repeated experiments that I've done.
But what about them? Oh, you're saying putting it in an old coyote or a bear den?
No.
Are you talking about digging one out?
I'm saying take you a little small camp shovel and go find you an embankment way back where no one knows where it is, and just dig you a hole into it and set your camera in the back of it and pour some deer pee or some bear pee in front of it, or some coyote pee, whatever you can get your hands on. That is a predator. It needs to be a predator. But you need to scent kill your camera, scent kill where you dug, scent kill all the area around you, scent kill your boots, your hands, your shovel, and then after you scent kill everything, then pour your lure down and back up and scent kill your way out of the area.
cover your tracks, the branch or something.
But try not to make tracks. If you can't help but make tracks, then throw some brush over, cut some grass or something, throw over it. Hey, Brandy. What's up, girl?
No.
Yeah, but the Bumping Lake expedition or trip should be fun and interesting because it's a place over here in South Washington or Central Washington, wherever, and it's a well-known area that's supposed to have a lot of Bigfoot activity. It's a nice little subalpine lake, big alpine lake.
When you're doing single knock, and you don't have to get complicated. Just do a single knock about every 68 seconds and keep going and keep going. And it's either going to not be there or it's going to sit there and listen to you. Or if you keep going, it could sit there and listen to you till it gets sick of hearing you and then yell at you or not back.
Annoy the hell out of it. Like, come on, man. Where you
I've
at,
learned. I've learned. When I go and track an area and I know there's one there, and I'm doing knock, I know a knock carries for 1.1 mile radius. So I'm sitting there doing knock, and it's sitting there quiet because it doesn't want you to know. They do not want you to know they're there. Okay, that is a safe bet. If you don't know they're there, then that's just better for them. But if you sit there in the air and just keep hitting it and keep hitting it and keep going at it, I have found they will eventually make their presence known either by coming in close and yelling and screaming at you, or just knocking at you. They might give you a big rapid knock, because you done irritated it.
Yeah, I don't think a wood knock travels that far here because the density of the forest, unless you get it into a nice echo plane of sorts to push it out. But here it's
I think it'd carry about as far as a car door slam, and those go at least 3/4 of a mile or so.
Yeah.
Orgay, what's up?
Yeah, what is up, Ray?
But hey, that would at least tell you that they're there. If they start that something is there, if they start yelling at you and decide to chase you off.
Oh yeah, man, that would be awesome.
Well, I learned. Go ahead. Well, I learned one of the greatest mistakes I was making during knock is I'd go do 10 or 15 knocks and leave. That was the biggest mistake I was ever making with knock. Okay, go do one every 68 seconds for an hour. Hour and a half. That is, if you do it for an hour and a half and you still have no response, they're just not there. Or they're very wise and been knocked out a whole bunch of times.
Or it's too hot for them, and they're like, fuck this.
Well, you need to pick the coolest dark hours. So I only go on a dark moon or when the moon is coming up and going down before the sun sets. During daytime, and I make sure there's no. Go ahead.
So you're recommending more night stuff, like more interactions. Statistically speaking, are your interactions more daytime, nighttime, evening time? Like, have you kind of figured that out?
For what you're trying to do, nighttime is definitely going to be the ticket. Also,
started to see them at night too, which is what I want to do the most, is see one. So
yeah. Well, nighttime's going to be the ticket. Plus, summertime, it's not just going to be nighttime; it's going to be wee hours when it finally cools off. Look at your, you can look all the information up. What moon phase you're in, moon rise and set times. Your air temperature, hourly air temperature, when you see it drop significantly. Say around here, it's somewhere around 1 in the morning when it actually cools off. So I think right now, this time of year, between midnight and 5 a.m. or without a moon would be, your best bet. Patrick, what state do you squatch in? Primarily Arkansas and Louisiana. I do Squatch in Mississippi, and I do have encounters in Texas, and I'm scheduled for an expedition in Oklahoma.
Nice.
You gotta make your way up here to the Pacific Northwest, man.
I would love to come up there. That's actually on my bucket list is to go to Willow Creek.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to stand where she stood and have pictures. I want to do my own recreation and take pictures and comparison pictures and really. And I know it's been done, but it's just like everything else in this subject. You can't tell me anything hardly. You know, you can suggest it, but I'm going to take it and try to debunk it and figure it out myself. And so I want to stand.
Bluff Creek. Okay.
Yeah, Bluff Creek. I want to stand where she stood and have pictures taken and then compare and actually see the volume of her. I want to see that, you know. And it's not that I don't believe she was there. It's just I think it'd be a cool bucket list thing to do.
Oh hell yeah, man! How could it not be? I mean, I think that's everybody's dream to go to the film site. And the good thing is the Bluff Creek project. They've been doing a really good job at restoring it, keeping the trail going, and because it's actually a lot harder to get to now than it was back in 1967. So, it's really overgrown. The roads washed out, I guess. So it's still there. They've got 100% verified that this is the location, and they found all the markers and everything. So it's there waiting for you, man.
Yeah, I want to.
So it is hard to get.
I just need enough vacation time.
Now there you go. Need to win the lotto or something.
I'm working on it.
There you go.
So it is hard to get to?
What? Are we playing basketball over there?
It's not like Space Invaders.
Something, yeah.
Man, I'm wondering.
Start He's a Cylon. Hi, Nikki.
Is my delay that bad?
Your sound is a little wonky.
It's kind of going wah 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 wah.
Yeah, I think it's when you touch your table or whatever, it creates a reverberation in the microphone going up. I'm guessing. So I don't know, man. Maybe just keep your hands on your lap.
Kim, handcuffing behind the chair.
But you're muted, bro. We can't hear you.
This isn't that kind of a show, Patrick.
Oh,
Mr. iPhone 6 here, man. Surprised it doesn't have dial-up or something.
So you froze up on video last night. What did make you believe in the Patterson-Gimlin film? What were you going to say there?
Well, if you can actually hear me,
Yeah, we're good, man.
I did. I actually put out a Facebook Live video doing my segment of what would have been on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was basically this. I mean, the first time I saw the film, I would have been a young kid, 6, 7, or 8, probably in search of, or Arthur C. Clarke. Oh my God.
Oh man, that was classic. You and the internet today.
Right, I mean, you guys just continue. I'm not part of the show, obviously.
hey, come on now.
is.
I mean, look, you know, do we really want to go there? Because I can go there. I mean, I can go there if you want me to. You know, we crack jokes. We're gonna get into some humor. Maybe I should bring Rick to.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder what's on someone's mind.
I try not to wonder.
Sometimes wondering is fun, though.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh wow. Here we go again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
We're an hour and 10 into it, and like, oh my god.
So yeah, back to Bigfoot, huh? We find him yet?
I can't believe no one's busted out any Janet Reno jokes.
Yeah, I don't know where to go. You guys have successfully stumped the host.
Oh, that was the conspiracy. We all got together on a different group chat and we're like, we're going to get Pat tonight.
Oh shit!
Coming. I knew it. I knew there was collusion and conspiracy against me.
The Russians made me do it. I'm sorry.
God.
It's all Nikki's fault. We were like right on par until Nikki threw something out there.
Nikki, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Nikki, time yourself out in chat.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Good.
God, man.
Okay,
I mean,
so
again, we can go there. We can go there.
All right, let's do this. We're professionals, right? No?
straight up,
Yeah.
stiff upper lip. No pun intended. Okay, so I don't know. My mind just got. Yeah, it's been a long week, and then someone talking about stuff. So, curious. Let's say something intelligent or funny. I don't care. Oh, there we go. There's the Squatch pic I made of our happy little camper up there in the corner.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I avoided the. Lord, I'm gonna have to curb my humor because I almost threw something funny out there, so when Nikki would die. So, experiments.
Yeah, experiment.
So let's talk about real world application of what we can do for, suggestions for Brent's 3-day. I suggest some kind of a den experiment with a camera and scent. Any other ideas that can be added to that?
I like your 2-bucket experiment.
Yeah. I wish my radio crapped out on me, so I couldn't do it. I do want to do that experiment. Just walk out and have 2 pails with the radio on the inside bottom of the pail and the camera facing straight up. So when the motion of the top pail falls off, whatever's looking down in there, all I can do is say cheese, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm also gonna do the decoy tent with a woman's scent in it. Dirty clothes, and just try the knock experiment. See about the coyote den.
Well, you should get that the chimp hormones that they're using on Expedition Bull stuff.
No, use use a predator. They're more interested in predators in the area because they have to manage the predator population in the area.
Well, I'll try and get some predator pee by then.
Go to a sporting goods store. They should have it.
Yeah.
Get it off Amazon.
Yeah, or Amazon.
I've always thought an interesting experiment, but I mean, who would do it? I don't know. Interesting experiment would be somebody in a very high-tech velociraptor costume, which exists, right? I mean, just YouTube it. There's videos of these costumes being used to play, pranks on people walking down the street, man. What in the hell would you think of that? Because that would be a pretty menacing looking predator.
Okay, you see that head come out from behind a curtain. Are you going to look real careful and think, gee, is that really a costume? I would, but I think a lot of people would see something that startled them, and that thinking part of their brain just goes off.
Well, those costumes are pretty badass looking. They look like velociraptors running around.
Yeah, but the creatures don't actually exist. So if you see it, it's a costume.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. But that's, again, that's where the prime fear kicks in. It's a big menacing thing. Doesn't matter.
You're either going to hear some snickering from way back in the woods as they laugh at you, or they're going to be right up close and personal right in front of you. I think it'd be an interesting experiment.
They'll probably be laughing too, because I could just imagine you tripping while you're in there. It's like, and they're just pointing and laughing. I mean, that's how you'll probably know, is you just make a complete fool of yourself and they're just up there busting out laughing.
Well, the inside, for some people, the inside of that suit would be a mess. But I've always wanted to see someone dress up like a Sasquatch and just go walk through there. Have a hidden GoPro on them and just take off walking. Around here you get shot quick.
Yeah,
but up there.
I mean,
huh?
You talk about laughing. I think they would be more interested in the velociraptor costume than they would the Sasquatch costume. They know what each other look like. That almost be like them trying to look like shaving themselves to look human or something. Nope,
No, man, I think the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man would probably be the best costume. It's bright, it's warm, fuzzy, and it's very inviting.
I don't know. You're talking about a velociraptor they'd want to kill, a marshmallow they'd want to eat, and a sexy Sasquatch they might want to molest. So I don't know. I mean, I think I can run in a Sasquatch outfit. I'm not sure I can run in a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
You might be able to roll.
If you do that, film it. We want to see. We want to see it on your channel.
Man. That's like it's viral video there.
We can put Pat in a velociraptor and set him out there, and we'll film him walk through the woods.
Yeah. Wearing a purple dress.
And a penis on my shirt.
Oh God, never mind. I'm kind of tired, so I'm not that funny.
What if we put a full-scale replica, easy to move, easy to put out there, replica of a T-Rex, and just boom, dropped it right in their area? What do you think they'd think about that? Now, that's something they could never handle.
Hey, that would actually bring one in if you could hide a camera good enough.
Wow.
Right in the eye.
Just came up with that. The Bigfoot world. Awesome.
But yeah, in my area, in one area, I'm cruising down the road and I look down this lane and there's a Bigfoot. And I'm doing like 45 down a gravel road. And I slide to a halt. It took about 50, 60 yards. I had a 3/4 ton. I slid. I was sideways, threw it in reverse, threw gravel back. I backed up into one of those big 8-foot tall metal cutouts of Bigfoot right in the middle of this guy's lane. I'm like, that is cruel. That is cruel,
Yeah, we see those more and more up in this area, especially rural areas. Yeah, man, they're big now.
There's a few roads I drive down, man, where I see Bigfoot cutouts. But they always dress up or something, or put a lawnmower in front of him, or whatever holiday it is, you know. But still, I can't believe that fooled you, Patrick. That actually made you do a double take. And
I had 0.3 seconds at 45 miles an hour. The lane maybe was 15 feet wide, and it was about 80 yards down that lane, and I'm doing 45, and it's just that fast, and I just locked my. I puckered a little. My heart started beating, excited, and I'm in reverse, and I'm throwing the old mud grips are just, throwing gravel, and I back all the way up, and I come to a halt, and it's still standing there, and I knew something was wrong because it's still standing there, and I pulled my camera phone out, and I zoom in, and I could see it's just a cutout.
Yeah, I got some stories like that. Sort of.
Do we think?
But
that's a good question. Do we think the Freeman film is legit?
I haven't seen it.
Freeman film? Sure, man. It's oh my gosh, Jesus, there he goes.
I haven't seen out of all the films I've looked at. Out of all the films I've looked at, I find two credible. Well, one conclusive and another credible. And the conclusive one is the PG film, and the credible one is another one where it's a subject, very tall subject, walking through some grass, and then reaches up and grabs a tree and pulls the tree down and breaks the top out of it. It's breaking the limbs as it walks off. It's not just the strength of it and the length of the arm that was really long that pulled this sapling down, but it was also displaying that behavior I've seen of breaking limbs, of showing its strength as it broke.
Is it shot from a distance?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
That's a
really long arms. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, the Freeman film is what a lot of people consider the second best piece of footage in Bigfootery, and I personally think it's Paul Freeman's son in the suit. And none of the Bigfooters at the time believed, back in the 90s, they thought Paul was a wonderful guy. I mean, we had Thomas on like a couple months ago talking about it. Paul's the nicest guy in the world, but he got the Ivan Mark syndrome and started to, they all thought that he was fabricating his evidence and his encounters. I mean, he was even admitted to hoaxing tracks when the watershed security, the police got involved, and he had to admit that he made these tracks, that they were fake. And it's one of those things. I personally think that they're fake. Or I personally think that the Freeman film is fake. It's just Wayne's son.
I simply go along with Thomas Steenberg on that conclusion. I think it looks generally good, but there is many things that bother me about the PG film, but one of the things I asked Patrick the other day, and he pretty much just confirmed that here. You'll hear people say, Patty doesn't look anything like a real Bigfoot. Well, someone who I am convinced has probably seen one, if there is one, is Patrick. I just asked Patrick in chat the other day, does the PG film, does Patty look like a Bigfoot, like the Sasquatch that you've seen?
Yeah, she moves just like they move. That's what sold me. Okay, as a naysayer, someone brought this. I saw this video. Might have been in search of rerun or something, and I watched the video. This film, Patterson film, and I thought it's just movie magic to me. I never ever said it was. I never thought it was a man in a suit. I just thought, I've seen dinosaurs walk on film, so I'm just thinking You know, there's some kind of movie magic going on. But I never went to a man in a suit. But then after seeing one run and the way its legs worked, the way they move, and watching Patty move, they move very much the same way. The only difference between Patty and what I've seen is that you can actually see her nose like from here up. And the ones I've seen have hair, you know, that is on the bridge of the nose. It's wispy, but they're still there. You know, there's more hair up in here. But I don't know how old Patty is because the ones that I've seen are relatively young. You know.
And she's female.
I've seen the females.
Right. So you're saying that they would, even the females you've seen, same thing, they're a little bit more wispy hair. It's so hard to
Patty,
though, man, like in that film.
Well, Patty is also built like the big males here. You know, the female Sasha that I've seen here isn't near the volume as Patty. Patty's literally the size of a big male here. And so they could be a bigger strain, a larger strain of Bigfoot there. But looking at her, she would look like a big male here without breasts if you took her breasts away. And added hair on the bridge of her nose.
Yeah, she's probably about 7 foot tall, ballpark, maybe a little bit north of that, and 500 to 700 pounds.
Well, someone said someone that recreated her said she was between 7'8" and 7'10". I don't know.
What's his name? Kent Walker.
Ken Walker. Yeah, Ken Walker.
Ken Walker.
Yeah, but if you watch the way she walks and the way her knees work, that's very much the same as I've seen in the ones here.
Really, what's going on with that, Patrick? There's like a weird fluidity to it. They do not walk like us.
Their hips, it's their hips. I think their hips don't work like ours.
They never extend their leg that they push off of, which we do. Yeah. Like we do full extension, and they don't. They do like this. It's almost like a creep walk, except it doesn't look like that. It looks like a fluid walk, but at a creep walk at the same time. Very, very bizarre.
They are very fluid. They walk very fast, very smooth, very quiet. But the one I saw running, it's her. You know, my hips are doing this as I'm running. You know, as I'm extending my legs out, my hips are doing this. Hers didn't. Hers stayed. Maybe it might have twisted 2 or 3 degrees, but her legs were up and down.
Well,
that was her.
Self?
What?
Wait, you saw yourself?
What I saw myself.
Oh my God! See, that's huge, dude. Because one of the criticisms of the Patterson Gimlin film is because Patty has breasts. You know, all the professionals go, well, she doesn't walk like a female, which has to do with a woman's movement because of the birth canal. And you just said the same thing, that like Patty walks like a man. She walks like a male. And you just said that you've seen that yourself with your own eyes. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize they said that about Patty, but I noticed it right off after getting into this and watching the Patty film again. Yeah, she moves exactly what I've seen. Their hips do not. Their hips don't do like this as we're running.
Does anybody know if there's a difference between other male and female species of like apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, if they each sex walks differently, or is it only to humans?
They're not bipedal.
Well, like when they do, like with gorillas and chimps, when they are able, to walk, or with their movements in general. Even when they're walking on all fours, do they walk differently because they have that, whatever, or is it just a human thing? I don't know. Well, this is one of those subjects where you have to become an expert in everything else just to figure out just to get an answer to your question. It's like, gosh, I got to go be a primate specialist now, and I got to go learn about this and this and that, and it's like, man, just answer questions.
The context
to look at another species and say that can't possibly be a female because it doesn't walk like a human woman is kind of foolish. Just kind of.
Well, you're assuming that they're willing to have the open-mindedness to consider it to be another species. That therein lies the problem. It's the flip side of that.
Well, no. We all judge from our knowledge, our own knowledge base, our own background.
I agree, but the professionals at the time, and maybe even some today. I mean, I think Erica even brought this up, either with me or Meldrum, I can't remember, but it was this whole idea of, well, why does it walk like a man or a male? Why does it walk like a male? It's a female, it should have more hip movement because of the birth canal.
That is just as I actually have never heard of that, and that is as ignorant as the day is long.
It's why human women, walk kind of. It's kind of sexy, like. I mean, I hate to frame it like
the creature that is of the larger proportions of that might not need the specially designed hips that human need to pass a child through there.
Yeah, well,
that's basically what Meldrum speculated.
It is, but it also comes down to their heads, and is it conical? Because it would require a more narrow birth canal.
Well,
so
who knows?
Discussion about their head.
I mean, who knows if they don't have plates like ours that grow and form? Because when my oldest son was born, he was lopsided, and then his head rounded out. So who knows what their bone structure is when it comes to being born into what they grow into in 3 to 5 years.
Oddly enough, like in the actual primatology, like scientific, discussion of all this, it always comes back down to the shape of their head. Do they have a sagittal crest? Okay, I'm getting a little confused. Or the conical head or the sagittal crest. That's the other thing about Patty is that she appears to have somewhat of a sagittal crest, but I'd say that's inconclusive visually. I've looked and looked and looked. I'm like, I don't see one that's obvious.
Well,
yeah, Meldrum said it's not terribly clear. It could be an effect of the way the hair is arranged.
Well, also, we're assuming that a sagittal crest is something that exists in their species because we've seen it in other species. Who knows if their skull just isn't shaped like that? Or, like Steve said, it's styled by wind.
Well, for the most part, as we observe in other species, if the DNA is designed for something that is physically large enough, the sagittal crest will express itself in the larger creature to provide a place for the muscles of the jaw to grab onto.
Yeah, and it's not unheard of.
So depending on the diet.
Not unheard of for a female to have some sort of sagittal crest. That's actually a misnomer in the Bigfoot world. That female primates just don't have them. That's not true.
Right. Well, it's not common. I just think we're assuming a lot with the sagittal crest. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a great theory. It's a great hypothesis and theory, but it hasn't been proven or tested yet.
Well, get a few of them to pose for some really good pictures, and we'll know better, Patrick.
There you go, man.
Got it.
Work it. You got to give them a still look, like on Zoolander.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, now we're going to be...
Now we're going to get Nikki going again. That's, who is that guy?
Nikki. I got to hang out with Nikki a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome.
I saw something slip by in chat that I kind of wanted to ask a bit about. Someone, I think, said something about Tinkham. Are you talking about the old town site along I-90 in Washington?
Oh, yeah. It's David, it's somebody that you should meet, that we should have on the show, man. He's a good guy to talk to. He's had multiple encounters. Local Washington guy, has some great insight on the subject. I'm trying to talk him to come on.
Yeah, dude. And if he's at all interested, please, point him immediately to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all about. I mean, I want to start having more guests.
Yeah. Well, this would be a good guy to talk from, to have on.
Yeah. Right now, I only have one guest waiting in the queue, so I would love to line up, 2 or 3, 4 more, so that I know what I'm doing ahead of time.
Yeah. Hey, David, get a hold of Pat too. It'd be great to have you on here. It'd be great to get your insight and be part of the discussion. Very insightful for us.
Yeah, I have property up on the Snoqualmie Pass area, so I'm up I-90 all the time.
Yeah, you are. That's why it's good to get him on here.
No, Bobcat. No. No. She could not handle the panel.
I'd probably agree with that.
She could not handle
There are going to be tough questions.
It would turn into a
questions
for entertainment. The people who want to have their cult and their believers, they're not for this kind of study.
Yeah.
Lockbeard. It's 2021.
And we're cool people too. We're just we just like to ask questions. We're just curious folks.
I like to know who Grasshopper's calling an idiot, greater than an idiot.
Oh God, it's so hard for me to keep up with chat. I have no idea. Live on.
Yeah.
I don't know who is
Long Island Bigfoot. Long Island Bigfoot.
It was me. Oh God, why upset him?
Man, yeah, that's definitely the YouTube crowd, or the YouTube Bigfooters. Definitely, probably are not big fans of us. I would say.
Yeah. Well, you have to.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. It's.
I mean, I don't.
It's not our audience.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
I don't. Yeah, I can talk to anybody, but you got to understand that you have to wrap your mind around the entertainment side of things and the serious, hard questions to be asked to drive better hypotheses, better theories, and better insights for better experiments to gain better knowledge of the subject and push the ball downfield. And I know it's a lot. That's a mouthful of words, but that's a whole lot different than the entertainment side of things.
It really is. And we try to keep it entertaining as much as possible, but still do what you do.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to confuse people, but Grasshopper is David, the guy that I was talking about. So sorry about that, guys.
So he's calling you an idiot?
No,
he's apparently calling him an idiot. Why?
Himself. I think it's how I read that. I don't know. I didn't read that part, but
I'll trust his judgment, but I haven't met him yet.
Nice, cool.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that. Yeah, it's like my boss looked. Never mind, bad joke. Keep going.
What were you guys talking about? How we're not very liked in the YouTube Bigfooting crowd. We're the skeptics,
Hey, I'm not sure it's Pat.
No, it's me. It's all about me.
It's Pat.
Okay.
No, it's I always frame it like this because it is what it is. I came into this whole thing prepared because I learned a long time ago you could write the greatest love song in the freaking world, go on stage in front of 20,000 people and play that song, and everyone in the freaking audience is singing every word. And then next day on Twitter or wherever, you could see thousands of people telling you how much you suck. You know, that's just the way it is, man. You got to take the good with the bad. I mean, you can't please everybody, even in art, in the arts world, you know. And so, no matter what you do, man, there's always going to be critics. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be somebody that's going to walk up and walk away.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just the way it is.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, huh?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm all for getting along. I'm just not going to do it at my expense, or I'm not going to poke fun at anybody else's expense. You know, if someone wants to be I love my entertainment shows. You know, matter of fact, I actually just kind of got away from them because they went beyond entertaining to absolutely silly. You
Fabrication.
know, I mean, absolutely fabrication. Now I can handle some fiction, but dang, you know, you start getting way out there, you know, I'm done. So I've actually canceled my subscription to them.
You know.
Yeah, the entertainment side's pretty hard sometimes. It's you never know what you're going to get, if it's factual or if it's just for entertainment. You know, there's a lot of people out there just use the cryptid subject to you know, make a YouTube channel out of it, podcast or whatever, which is fine. You know, we all do it, but
there's a lot of incentive, dude. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it
just comes down to integrity of what's presented.
What was that, Steve?
Oh, I like that last thing that Grasshopper posted up there. Yeah, maybe we ought to meet Dave.
Yeah, no, I think you'll like him. I think you'll like him. He's.
I was coming to very much that same conclusion before I stumbled into Leon and this group of people.
Yeah, we're all weird.
I'd like to talk to Dave. I mean, if he comes recommended by you, Brent.
Yeah, man. I think he'll be a good guest to have on here. You know, with some good information, and that's what it's all about. You know, he's been doing it for a while, has a lot of experience, and has seen them, and he's one of the few people I actually believe. So, you know, which is rare for me. You know, I have trust issues when it comes to this subject, and so. You know, it's just what it is. So yeah, I definitely do recommend having him on. I think he'll up some great insight, and I think subscribers and guests the viewers will enjoy.
He can reach out to me, you know, Facebook Messenger. You can facilitate that, I'm sure, or find me subjective at gmail.com.
I think everybody wants to know that filmer of Bobcat.
Here we go again. Now,
I like that. Yeah, when the weirds align.
That's true. We're all weird, man. I mean, look, we're all interested in some taboo subject that most of America doesn't believe in.
No, there are definitely people who will not get along with this kind of place, and How to Hunt Guy is definitely one of those people.
You see that?
Yeah,
that is a very weird object. If we didn't know what that was attached to, we would say there's no way it exists. Okay,
right.
I picked this up tracking. Deer are real, and so is Bigfoot.
But the How to Hunt Guy isn't. He's as fake as it can be.
You know, I know people that like him, so I keep my opinion myself.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I try to sometimes, but
look, Steve, look, all right, yeah. I mean, Steve is what he is, man. You know,
yeah, he is. You know, he's entertainment. He's entertainment. He's part of the entertainment side. I wouldn't take anything from him as useful information that's going to help you find Bigfoot or help you discover some sort of truth within the subject. He's just pure entertainment. You know, nothing's vetted out. Yeah, you know, it's you know, that's the thing is we all have to recognize that the distinction between the people who are serious about it versus the people who are just want to entertain you, that just want to produce something to just entertain people. So there's a big distinction in that, and it's best not to confuse the two.
A lot of money from a large number of people.
Well,
or people just want attention. There's no monetary gain for them. They just like the attention that they get from as being somebody of authority that talks from authority and stuff like that. So
making money. He's making.
Oh, the How to Hunt dude? Yeah, absolutely. Well, his YouTube clicks alone is probably making a decent amount. He realized that. I think when he came into the game, the Bigfooting game, he only had like 50, 60,000 subscribers, and I think he's tripled that by now. So he's making a good portion. He got his book that probably took no real effort to make. It's just other people's stories.
His book was just taking the emails that he's been getting and putting them into a book.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
And now he's a distinguished author that we should listen to because of, I don't know. I don't think we should listen to him. Yeah. I put him up there with the David Pilates dude. Just people who are just for entertainment.
Well,
the thing about Steve and the emails, right? So they're anonymous, although sometimes people attach their names to it. You could say my name, blah, blah, but at the end of the day, like you said, if you're publishing anonymous emails without any vetting whatsoever, no vetting, then all you're getting is stories. Sure, some of them are true, but still.
And I bet you that he's going to be like the David Pilates guy and just, cherry pick what he likes and present, whatever, stuff to best fit his narrative of whatever he's trying to sell.
Well, who trains minds to look at things the way they need to be looked at? Okay, I mean, you have to have the right thought process and intelligence and to be able to figure out exactly how you're supposed to look at things. Because you really have to train your mind to be able to ask the correct questions before you get the right answers so that you can train it even further. And so how many people are in this, adamantly on, for real, that don't do that or haven't done that enough or whatever. They may be on a side road that leads to nowhere that we know where it leads because it's a hoax, but these people are for real. And so, and I'm not saying that to point anything out. I'm just saying, train your mind, get into how to scientifically investigate things, look at how investigation tools, talk to investigators, talk to scientists, and train your mind how to
That's what I was talking about of us having like a discussion like that on here, as one of the topics is how do we actually vet a piece of evidence that we happen to come across, be it you, me, anybody. How do we best go about it? Like, what's the steps in the process should we go when we come across this actual video itself? Like, what should we just blindly believe it and go post it on all the Facebook groups and tell our friends? Or should we, how do we go and vet this piece of evidence out? What's the step-by-step process? And I think giving people the tools like you're talking about to better vet this stuff out is going to be the name of the game, really, to help people understand what they're seeing versus having others to tell them that it's fake or that it's not real.
Damn, Pat, you'll just let anyone in.
Pieces of evidence presented to me along the way, most of them with the request for confidentiality, and that request was probably a good thing for their part. I've found very few things presented that are even remotely convincing, and most are pretty easily debunked.
Hello, Leon.
What's up, man?
Hey,
Hello,
meet again,
guys. Late, but still here. Am I too loud?
Nah, man, you're
Okay.
good. Good voice.
We all quieted down because we know you're all pinned up and want to talk.
Yeah.
I'm bagged. I tell you. I fell asleep on the couch. I was going to join earlier, and then I went to a sleeping vortex, and then I woke up, and then I was listening to what you were talking about.
Missing time.
So we bored you to death. We bored you.
Steve lulls me. Lulls me. I can listen to Steve all night long in my subconscious as I'm listening to his videos to help my brain change.
He has the most soothing voice.
Listen,
I love his voice.
Yeah.
You should just start, posting videos of you reading the dictionary, Steve, or something like that.
Yeah, do it in that essay voice. I love his essay voice.
Hey,
and as we move on to the letter B,
yeah.
It shows some footage of like some wherever ferry crossings and love it. Great stuff.
So Pat, what are you using to film since your Mac's down?
Kim's cell phone.
I know it looks like a little toy.
Doesn't it?
Toy thing. Some 1980s sound graphic to it.
Nice.
Well, there has been.
Yeah.
So Pat, did you tell these guys what I got to do today regarding?
No, I did not have a chance to, so I will let you tell them.
Well, Global News National contacted me 2 days ago, and they're doing a huge segment on Sasquatch for all of Canada. And so I got interviewed by them today. Thomas Steenberg as well is going to be interviewed by them today. And that was kind of interesting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, actually. She was from Toronto. Her name's Sabah, I think is how you pronounce it. And it was interesting hearing her when I first started talking to her. The stupid thing was the only time I could fit her in was when I was working. So I locked myself away and put sticky notes everywhere saying, being interviewed, don't disturb me. And of course, all I had was knocking on the door while I was being filmed, and my finger kept going, like, give me a second, you guys, give me a second. But she said, oh, I just finished talking to Todd Standing before I got a chance to talk to you, Leon. My eyes rolled in the back of my head. I thought, oh no, this is the problem, is because knowing Todd, especially that one time when he did the documentary and Meldrum and the late John Bitternagle, when he used the words my fellow colleagues, they're not your fellow colleagues, Todd. First of all, they're academics, and you're not academics, And so she said to me, I didn't know how to quite to respond, because that was the first thing she said, and I was thinking, how am I going to respond to this one? Yeah. So she says, oh yeah, he's certainly gung ho about what he does. And I kind of laughed and I said, yeah, are you eating a chocolate bar, Pat? What's going on there?
I'm sorry, that was me.
Oh, friends.
Sorry, trying to eat some Doritos.
Nice, man.
That was on mute.
The noisiest chips you could possibly have.
But it went.
But it went pretty good, actually. It was only supposed to be interviewed for 20 minutes, went on for 45 minutes, and so that was a bonus.
It took 45 minutes to get 20 minutes.
Well, could be, right? It's going to be, I said to her, so is this on the global web page, or where is it? She says, oh no, it's on the global web page, but it'll be on all the radio stations and all the TV networks as well. And I thought, wow, this is nice. So I think I'll be the counterbalance. Yeah. I think the nice thing is when I said, I'm not too sure if I'm going to be coming from the same view from most of the people she's been interviewing, because a lot of them are talking about what most people hear online, the priming of the narration that most people have heard in regards to Bigfoot researchers that are online. So I came from a total different angle from that, of course, scientific method and stuff like that, and mentioned to her about if they say to you that they use a scientific method, make sure you ask them, well, what scientific method is that? And if you don't hear the words Merton's norms or the baloney detection kit, it's more than likely they have no idea what the scientific method actually truly is. And that kind of piqued her curiosity about, yeah, this guy's not the guy who's coming on just everything is Sasquatch, and these were the events of Sasquatch, and this is a Sasquatch, and that's a Sasquatch. She did ask me questions about using the word believe again. Do you believe in Sasquatch, Leon? And I did the same correction that we've been all trying to do with no, belief isn't what we're looking for. We're looking to follow the evidence and stuff. So, and then when she was talking about, well, what about all this other evidence? You can tell she's talking to other people, like the DNA. She was kind of surprised when I said, there's absolutely no DNA. We have no DNA, not yet, And well, what about the structures? No one has ever seen a Sasquatch build a structure, and it's more likely what you're looking at is primitive craft there, or bushcraft in most cases on that. But I tried to be really, I wasn't trying to be offensive to anybody's ideologies that they have online, but I certainly tried to cause enough questioning because it's for the general population. That's the target for the interview. For me, it's not about promoting Sasquatch. It's about educating the public. So it went pretty well. I can't wait for her to mention, oh, yes, I was talking to Todd Standing after she talks to Thomas Steenberg. Because Thomas will say, oh, that guy there is going to be the worst that could possibly be out there. So I think it's supposed to come out on the 22nd or the 28th. So I'll let you guys know. I'll post it.
It's awesome. And I always trust you, Leon, to represent the Bigfoot phenomena very well to the general public. I've heard you do it before. So that's real great, man. I can't wait to check it out. And,
well, I used your word phenomena today in the interview, Pat.
My word.
It depends what the phenomena is. I mean, what are we saying? What is there something tall, big, and hairy walking through the bush? I think there is. And of course, she asked me the question, well, Leon, have you seen a Sasquatch? And because of my experience, it's so hard to tell my experience because you look like you're a Looney Tune, right? But I had her laughing by the time I was done talking about it. And I didn't tell her the whole story. I just said, well, I believe I seen a kind of an infant or toddler Sasquatch hanging around with a moose. And then that made her eyes poke up like, oh, what? And then I went, like, who are you going to tell that story to, right? Then she laughed at that. But then again, elaborating, I think this is what the problem is too, is if you can give a good context that gives credence to the possibility, which is the YouTube having all these different species that seem to take care of each other and stuff like that. At least there's a precedent you can lean to try to explain the thing. But I was kind of surprised. It's kind of like when I did the Steve Culls interview. I don't know if I was burned out. Well, I was burned out, but I just stuck straight to the facts, didn't try to hype anything or over exaggerate anything, I don't think. And I think that's going to be refreshing for a lot of people, especially if she's been talking to some of the people that I know up here in Canada she's been talking to. And I also dropped a lot of names of good Canadian researchers and organizations like Alberta Sasquatch too. So
very cool.
Good deal.
Yeah. So get out there, get your news agencies. Come on, you guys.
Yeah, that's the public outreach that I've talked about before, and which was somewhat inspired by you in the first place. So,
hey, she asked me that one question too about A sighting, B sighting, and a C sighting. Tell me what you think those three things are.
Visual, audio.
I know what they are.
C would be a funny feeling. I don't know.
A sighting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Class A sighting is daytime only. You're seeing it. It's seeing you. Nothing between you. Class B sighting is crap. I can't remember Class B sighting. Class C sighting is a Class C encounter is someone telling you something about.
Yeah,
Class
I think
B
is where you don't see it. Like you it's like audio. You hear a scream or something, and it's possibly a Bigfoot, or you see something from a distance, like 2 miles away. And I think where you can't verify what you saw is what a Class B is.
The key thing is they all have to be in the daylight.
Oh, that's the first I heard about that. But
yeah, same. Well, the way I got around it was saying, well, this is how at least we view A, B, and C. because I just thought, well, how am I going to explain this? She asked me like 4 times to say what it was again. So I thought, how come you're not getting what I'm talking about here? I say Class A is you're walking through the bush, you come around a corner, and it's right there in front of you. You see it as clear as day. That's a Class A. Class B is when there's a report that's come in, and you go and you check it out, but there's no Sasquatch, but you're looking for evidence that shows that there's a Sasquatch been in the area, such as tracks. Class C is when you've heard a report that could hold evidence of the Sasquatch being there, but you can't prove any of the information. Like an example of that would be audio. So you hear a sound somewhere in the bush. So how would you verify and vet that that sound is a Sasquatch? And then I kind of elaborated on that kind of thing. So that's the angle I took. I don't know if it's the best one or not, but that's the best way I could describe it.
I don't know if there's like a classification that's really defined for us. I think I think the BFRO might have something on there.
Oh, the BFRO probably has it.
Well, they have, yeah, that's what they do. They do Class A, Class B, Class C, right? So
see, I don't subscribe to BFRO classification because there are a lot of encounters I've had that would not fit in their classification, but I've gone out and tracked what was there. So I don't subscribe to them on that.
Well, I don't think they subscribe to that either. We say we do, but we actually don't do any of that to actually,
Oh, we created the definition. We just don't actually use it.
Yeah.
You can't talk about you can't talk about your colleague like that.
Well, the weird thing too is she was a city slicker. You could tell she knew nothing about Sasquatches, but the mystery part was intriguing to her. So
everybody loves a mystery.
Everybody loves a mystery. Yeah.
So I know it's late. I just wanted to stop in. I wanted to say hi. I haven't seen you guys for a while. Yeah. I've got a really light week again. I'm working actually 6 days in a row. This is supposed to have been slowed down by now. It's like, So who's putting out the next video? Steve, when's your next video coming out? Are you working on it?
I wanted to start recording it. This is going to be my last free weekend for a while. Hey, there's work to be done, so it's nice.
Did you get the Did you get the contract?
Yeah.
Good for you. Congratulations. Happy birthday too. I don't know if you got my birthday wish I sent on your Facebook page.
Oh.
Are you
apparently not.
What are you doing, Steve? Are you working on the F-27 now, or maybe the F-39?
No, I haven't done avionics for a while. There's a company that's doing some equipment for emergency communication, and they need to qualify it to hook into AT&T's emergency services network. So basically, I'm working on cryptography, authentication sort of stuff.
Words.
And Pat, I want to tell you, you look more sophisticated, 15% smarter now that you're wearing glasses to the viewer at home. And you got your hair cut so you don't look like you're a flower child from the 60s, which is nice as well. Kim probably appreciates that.
No, she prefers the other. Yeah, she did not want me to cut my hair. But thanks for being the first panel member to actually bring that up.
It wasn't. He wasn't.
Well, live on air.
What you can't hear is Patrick laughing right now.
Right. And so my glasses, I don't have my 13-inch MacBook in front of me. I've got this little baby screen. And yes, I can put my readers to see y'all's beautiful faces.
So you can't turn your phone to the side so it's full screen like ours?
I don't know. This is not an iPhone, so I don't know what to freaking do with it.
I tried that last weekend when I went on with Matt's show. I was on the phone up in the mountains, and so I tipped the phone over, and it worked.
Yay!
Now you got to turn off your lock screen because I'm using my phone right now.
See, it doesn't work for me. See, I go upside down. Hello. Hello. Hey, Patrick.
It's your lock screen might. Yeah, your screen's locked.
My screen.
That's all right. You know, we just get to see more of your shirt.
You mean my cool shirt?
Yeah.
Calm down, Nikki. Calm down.
You know, woodland. Yeah, I said we could go there. We can go there. Woodland over here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody Rick's on the phone.
What?
Huh?
We didn't hear what you said, Pat.
I don't know. It looks like a reservoir tip. I don't know.
Woodland.
So did you speak at the conference, Pat?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you? How'd that go?
It was more difficult than I thought it would be.
Oh,
like
how
I
so?
really thought I was prepared to do that, you know. And it just took one or two funny faces in the crowd to kind of spook me a little bit. So I made it like everyone else. Everyone else took their full hour. I spoke for 20 minutes, dropped the mic, and walked away. Like, all right, I'm done. Yeah.
Did Daniel record the conference and the speakers?
No, and neither did I.
What?
Oh man, I wanted to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
me too.
Should have
We
got
could
Nikki
do
there.
like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of viewing of it.
I can see Pat up on stage now, and the mystery man was.
A Thunderbird pilot. Oh wait, I'm sorry, a Thunderbird ride along. Yeah.
There we go.
There he goes.
And there he is. I
The
finally
mystery
found
man.
My favorite thing's the red circle. I love the red circle.
No, my favorite was the warning that Pat was trying to give.
Which was?
No, behind the scenes in the chat when he was talking about Mystery Man.
Right.
It ended up being Steve.
That's an inside joke. Let me keep it that way.
That was a growing point for Pat.
Thank you, dude. It's too much trouble. Not being asked what Mr. Man is, it's a thing. You know the thing.
Did you guys catch Jay's? I'm glad you posted that, Brent. Did you catch Jay's interview the other day? Online? Who was that with? Who was that with?
I don't know who the group is or the podcast group. It's the first step ran across.
Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah.
Really well. He didn't go ballistic or whatever. Like when he said, "Yeah, Richter, you and I are alike," and I thought, "Yeah, you can be." Mm-hmm. Richter was unleashed there a couple of times for sure. So,
yeah, I'm going camping with Jay up at Pumpkin Lake, and Richter I come along, trying to drag Steve along for a day. Should be a fun one. I'll record that.
Yeah, when are you guys doing that? This month or next month?
It's going to be next month.
What time zone? Early month, mid month?
Early towards the early months or early days, early weeks.
Because they're opening the border now, right? So.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'll
for double vaccinations for Canadians, anyways. They're opening the border for that.
Yeah, so. I could drop you some coordinates and see if it's doable for you. It's down by Mount Rainier. It's gonna be a fun one.
Well, you guys should make it a public. Create an event and charge people $40 to come camp out with you.
40 bucks a pop.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think there are already groups that do that out there.
We can go do that up at the Bigfoot tree. Start charging people.
Yeah.
Well,
Take 'em
considering Alberta Sasquatch is doing their camp out in late August, and they're not charging anything for anyone to show up for that. So
How much
it's all
the head-
education, free education, just hanging out
That's
with other people.
absolutely un-American.
I
No way
know,
to-
but we're Canadian, right? This is Alberta. It's about community, healthy community. So,
No, that'd be cool if even Thomas, if Thomas can come down, it'd be great to do some expeditions with you guys or us heading up there and
yeah,
doing some more like that. I really encourage us trying to plan something, getting something like that together. Because Thomas really likes the Mount Baker area, which is not too far across the border.
great.
Well,
And maybe
that's
we'll
cool.
stay. Who knows?
Guys,
Well, maybe
you
we
guys-
could get him to drive a couple hours further south and look in the hills up above Darrington.
Yeah.
Oh, Thomas would come down and do that for sure. It's for him. It'll be about his work situation as well. But coming up to his area, there's just tons of locations we could go to for sure. There's a lot of museums. John Green's museum and
Oh wow.
like right in Mission where he lives. Oh,
We could stop at the cafe that was used in the film Archie or whatever.
Archie the comic book thing. I'm not a big TV person, but
They made a movie
the
about that?
TV series there with Archie and all those guys and blah 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 blah. No one's commenting, so no one else in the chat obviously watched it either.
I've
The
never
first
heard
time
of
I
it.
met
41 people.
the first time I met Thomas, he took me to that restaurant. They filmed that series, and they had to notify me of where we were sitting. I thought,
Oh wow, I feel really honored.
but there's a lot of great places, especially up in the Harrison Hot Springs area, and the north side of Harrison Lake is where we want to go. That's where they do all the research up there. So, and I think that is. I don't want to say in case I'm wrong. I think the guy's name's James or something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm screwing that name up, but I think it starts with a J. So.
Yeah,
Well,
with all
that's
these
cool.
different places, man, I'm sure we'll find Bigfoot somewhere.
Oh yeah, we'll probably find him at Safeway or Walmart. She'll be wearing no bra, having spandex pants on,
And high heels.
high heels. Yeah.
Pendulous breath. Yeah.
So
I'm glad I slipped that one in tonight. Yeah.
yes, that's it, Brandy. That's the one.
I
Hi,
just
Matt.
like
It's good to hear from you.
I
Thanks
just
for
like
the
to see-
message you sent me. Sorry,
I want to see
Patrick.
three. I want to see 3 unmanned experiments that will pull them in and what is captured. That's what I want to see throughout those hills. I mean,
Hills. What
So,
hills?
hey, Patrick, what's your thoughts about like having a decoy tent, that type of thing? Like a
I put
woman
it-
scent in there, like a woman, dirty clothes.
well, the first question is, is this a place where tents are usually set up?
Maybe I don't know. Not.
I mean, is this something common that this group would see?
Uh,
Well, hunters down around Rainier will tent camp. Most of the people who've seen Sasquatch around there aren't really hot on tent camping anymore.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go into an area doing the same thing that they've already debunked as something that's not concerning them or their survival, they could just bypass you, unless you're there doing something strange that brings them in.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
having like a decoy tent set up in an area where you probably wouldn't usually have a tent.
Yeah, I would pack in somewhere where go in deeper, and set a tent up. And I've used a radio. Throw it. Put a radio on talk radio on low, and just throw it in the tent. Let it sit there and talk.
That's a
You
good
know.
idea.
or have a recording of people snoring.
Yeah, recording something.
Yeah.
If you got it on a loop, if you have it on a loop, but if you're standing anywhere near it, they're going to know you're there. So you're going to have recorders out on the perimeter so that you can listen to them come in. And if you can
Yeah.
hide, if you can do, that's where I would do a two pill a 2 pail experiment with, maybe, I don't know if you want to put the radio in the pail with the camera facing up on top of the other top covered pail. That I would run some kind of experiment in there inside that experiment.
You just set it up there and leave it for a week. Come back and check out the information.
Yeah.
The
You
data.
might get some ranger surprised look on his face in the camera. Holy cow.
About it. Like,
Or somebody thinking it's a toilet.
I get a visual on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to a sicko I worked with, I actually got the image of that. That guy was disgusting. He's like, "Come here, look at my computer." I'm like, God.
I've considered, and I probably will at some point, do the decoy tent thing at some point, because I think, especially if you put sounds into it, like you're saying, so if you put it out there, you make it attractive in a like whatever normal human way that, to try and trick them.
Yeah.
That would actually be a very good tactic, to plant that, air superiority right over that tent, right around that area. And boy, if that worked and they came in, bam. I mean, that's it.
That'd be great though, to just have the drone on a circular pattern up high, so you can't really hear it. So, I mean, they probably will, but just to have that circular pattern like that around the tent, just expanding a little bit more and a little bit more until, maybe you catch something right on there.
Well,
yeah, something like that, or much higher altitude where I could still pick up the thermal signatures, not in great detail, but I could definitely tell it's not a bear moving through the woods, even at probably, 400, 500 feet, which you cannot hear the drone at that point. But yeah, just draw them in with that, fake, that fake tent tactic, and then if that worked, to have that aerial platform on top of them, bam, you bring that drone down, you get right on top of them, you got all kinds of stuff happening there real fast, and for a while.
A common thing that has been in almost every situation I've had with them is that they are concerned about what your presence means to their survival. Whether it's an unmanned experiment you have out there that is causing them concern. Is this a new predator? We got a new predator den. That's my latest thing. I need to check this out and see what's up this predator den, what this means to, and how this is going to affect my survival, versus, hey, someone's being intrusive into our area. They came one mountain further over and has a tent, and I'm hearing talking in a tent out there, and we need to come in and look at it. Whatever it is you're going to do, you're going to have to cause them concern. And that is the common element of every encounter I've been in.
Well, you don't want to cause them probably too much concern that they just automatically leave though, right? They just bounce out.
Well, I'm not talking about going out there banging away with guns. I'm talking about, they manage their area. They're living off the land out there. There's no Walmart. So, that's why you have some hunters go out there and they go back further, and guess what? They're getting stuff thrown at them. They're having stuff pushed down right behind their tent. Okay, because they know what they're there to do. It's causing concern when I say concern, it's not just space, but it's resources. You're there to take resources. When people go in the woods, they're there to take something, whether it's timber or game or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Brent, what do you got planned for when you go out this year? You and Steve.
What do we plan?
What do you got planned? Yeah. What's your strategies?
Well, previously it's been, wandering around, the woods, game trails, trying to find different ways of finding them. Now it's, try and bring them in, try to interact with them on their playing field, try to figure out if what we're actually dealing with is Bigfoot, using mainly audio to help collect information and try different experiments like we talked about with Patrick. You know, my whole goal is to see one, to get a verification. If I can collect evidence to help prove it to other people, that'd be great. But that's really my main objective, is to just kind of do that. And I'm collecting evidence as much as I can along the way, but ultimately that's my goal. Yeah, next weekend I'm going to be doing a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll probably live stream that off my channel or something, which you know, just live stream kind of like what I did last time. See whatever comes out there. Yeah, and I've been out with Steve a few times, a handful of times. And, it's been tough for me to get out this year. It's just been insane, but
Yeah, it's strange, eh? It's like no time. I haven't been out once.
Yeah. I mean, I've been out sparsely, and I was supposed to go out this weekend, but it didn't. Ended up I couldn't. I had work, so I couldn't go. It's just trying to find time for this hobby of ours, really, because it doesn't pay us anything. So, yeah, that's what we're going to try and do, is just go out, collect evidence. Me and Steve, we go to different areas. You know, we collaborate together. Try and hook up, go to good high potential areas where, you know, just there's a lot of reported activity, and just hope you're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things, giving off the right vibe that they would want to come interact with you, and so you can, you know, see them or learn more about them or whatever.
Hey, Brett, how about you take 2 tents and set one up as an unmanned experiment with an experiment within it, and then take another tent 20 miles away and set yourself up as a baited experiment, use yourself as bait, and you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Maybe you'll have an interaction yourself that you can fall back on, you know, to analyze and listen to on your audio. And also when you're done with that, you can double back and go to your unmanned experiment.
Yeah, actually, I just bought a new tent. It's a cabin tent. It's a quick pop-up, lightweight, easy to take with you. It's a cabin tent, so I'm able to, you know, it's like almost 6 feet tall, so I'm able to stand up in it, and it's got more floor space, so I could, you know, maybe, you know, like I said, use myself as bait, and I'll have a lot of, you know, different options to try and, you know, stick stuff out the window or you know, ways to try and collect evidence. And I'm definitely down to use myself as bait. I mean, that's the only way to really do it, is go out there and, you know, be there.
Yeah. Dome tent and a folding chair, because it gets real tired sitting or on the ground on your butt, and it gets real tired standing. So a dome tent and a folding chair, and I actually had to cut the webbing out of my tent all the way around the holes so I could see out.
I know. I was thinking about having a chair just sit there right in the middle of it, and I could just like a swivel chair, you know. I don't know how to get it out there, but that'd be so ideal, just to go, you know, like, whew, you know, just out any of the different areas where you can observe what's going on outside. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I can't believe someone hasn't come up with a periscope. You know, they can sit in the tent and go.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly, something kind of like that. You know, I thought about doing that. What I do sometimes is my car has a sunroof, so sometimes I'll sit in there and I'll just hold the camera out there and just like spin it. Sometimes don't really get much because there's no gimbal.
You get some beautiful shots. I suck as a photographer. I went out last Sunday, did a little tracking, and I actually snuck up on a wading bird and watched him eat a frog. And then I zoom out and take a picture, and I got a bird blob. I'm like, I can't even take a picture of a bird correctly.
I want to make a comment to Strange Land and anyone in chat. If you're going to suggest us to do things, we want to make sure that you've tried it first. So Strange Land, we do want you to chain yourself up to a tree. Yeah, that's the one there. And put an apple in your arse cheeks and start whooping. And if you've done that, tell us how that worked out well for you. And if it didn't work out well for you, we'll probably not do that same suggestion.
And don't video it. I don't
easier
want to do
ways.
that.
Yeah, that's one of those things where, we don't really need the video evidence for that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Peter Payne video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard much of Bigfoot activity so far. This last summertime. It seems fairly quiet out there. Even the people out there looking for Bigfoot have not really reported back much. A lot has been seen, and makes you kind of wonder what's going on.
Well, that's what the reporter asked me that question too, and I said, I don't know if it's the heat that's affecting them to stay more stationary. And again, this is for the west coast area and stuff. But one of the areas I want to put a set of cameras up is on top. There's one mountain that's totally by itself. The very top of the mountain, there's a natural mineral, salt mineral area, like big area. It's about 164 feet or so long and about 75 feet wide. It's just all salt. And the temperature is supposed to get up to 40 coming up this week. And I was trying to get up there before that temperature hits and place the cameras up there. A lot of wildlife will be licking that area for sure when it's that hot out. So I just thought it might be a good opportunity to maybe catch the Squatch doing that too. So I see the finger. I see the sacred finger of the research guy.
Well, going along those same lines, that's a great idea. And also remote water sources. They're going to be very close to them in this heat.
The thing with our forest up here, man, is like there's a water source like every 200 yards.
Yeah, for sure. Where you guys
it's
are,
like, that's the thing. It's like it's not a useful way to find them here because their water's so abundant.
Well, we have cold water seeps all over the place, but if you can find a place that has a mineral seep, a lot of animals will come in for the extra mineral content.
Wow, that's true. That's true.
Answering this question, it's hard right now to use horses because the heat is so crazy up here right now. They get pretty burned out fairly fast. So, especially going in the mountains, we have a heat dome, and the thing about a heat dome is the temperature up above the mountains is as hot as it is down in the valley. So we're talking close to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius, which is 120 degrees. So all the snow caps that usually keep their snow over the winter, those are all melting. The other problem also is you're going into areas where there's hardly anything in the creek. You're in there for a few days, and the next thing you know, you can't get out because the water's flooded through. And we've had a couple of people that have been getting stuck on the other side and having to get helicopters to rescue them out of the area. So,
I took the kids camping a week or two ago, and you could actually, it was during that big heat wave, the really beginning of it, and you can actually see the water level rise as we were there, in the rivers.
Yeah.
Is that because of snow melt? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there's an interesting picture, a really good picture of Mount Rainier before and after the heat wave we had here in the Pacific Northwest. And it shows you how much snow's actually melted off the mountain itself. And that goes into the runoffs and into the rivers, and then eventually out to the Puget Sound.
Yeah, because usually when it's hot, you can go to the top of the mountains and it's cooler up there. But when you have a heat dome over the area, it's the same heat right up past the mountains elevation, right down to the valley. So it's brutal.
Especially I was thinking about it. It's like where I took the kids. There was a natural breeze that the river would help cool the temperature down and force it towards you, so it's like a cooling effect. It's like, man, I was thinking, man, this would be, if Bigfoot learned these areas of, natural air conditioning, would be like, that's probably the areas they're going to be at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I was Sasquatch, I'd have my butt planted in a cold creek with a cold beer.
That's what that's what we did. Yeah, we found an amazing spot, and that's what we did. I mean, no beer, but great.
Was the cold beer between your ass cheeks?
With me whooping on there.
I'm just wondering. I mean, you guys might do it differently.
We do some weird stuff up
That's
here.
a Canadian thing, man.
Not that, man. We don't go that hardcore.
That's
Hey,
a Canadian thing, dude.
Strangeland is from Canada and it's from Newfoundland. So, well,
You
he's
gotta-
from Newfoundland. They might do that.
Canadians got the built-in bottle cap remover, I guess.
Oh my!
Here we go.
So, Pat, are you going to get your Mac fixed or what? You got to get a new one.
It's there's a complication to even get to like where I need more information. So I've actually had to, I've taken the MacBook back into my possession for now, and I'm in try again mode. So yeah,
So
it's not looking good. Yeah,
not about data recovery. No, I know Steve's been talking about this. So
hopefully the data recovery can be done, and if I have to Frankenstein, a new MacBook, then I will. But
you've never asked for financial support. Why don't you ask the viewers to help you? Each person. Well, you're not going to, because I'm going to do it for you. That way you don't have to do that. So if people could give you $10 a person, $20 a person, whatever. Help Pat out, you guys. Look at him. He's all bashful. He won't let people love on him. So you can help him out. If you have an extra Mac laying around, mail it to him.
What do you mean? You would have to come bring it to me personally or send it to me through Zelle or something. You'd have to know me personally. I'm not monetized on YouTube, so
right.
There's no way to donate money. There's none of that. So, but I wouldn't even
contact you. They could contact you and say, "Hey, I got a brand new Mac for you. What's your address? I'll mail it to you tomorrow." And you would say, "Oh, I can't do it," and then you'll say, "Yes, you can." We'll all tell you. The panel says, "Yeah, you can do that."
It's my problem to fix because I'm the one that did it. I did the full send. And so my problem to fix.
It is your problem. Actually, it's your fault, but it doesn't mean we can't help you fix the problem.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, Leon. I do.
All right.
I'm going to ask anybody. Just send me your Sasquatch hair because I love Sasquatch hair.
Well, it's just like moose hair. I could send you just a lot of moose hair and say it's Sasquatch hair.
No, it's like people hair. It's just never been cut. Which is the most interesting thing there is to me about Sasquatch hair, is when they do find hair that's human that's never been cut. Well, that's probably a Sasquatch hair you got there in your hand, bud. What are you going to do with it? What $100,000 do you have to get it tested properly?
I would be cautious about that whole idea, because if I gave you some of my back hair, which has never been cut, you'll think it's Sasquatch. Okay, just open your camera lens a bit more and realize there's other human hair that's never been cut.
Sure.
Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I know you understand, don't you, Patrick? Because you have the same problem. Speak on the shoulders, ape don't kill ape, kind of thing. Looking at you.
I got a really nice beard trimmer. Everything gets trimmed, baby. Everything.
Oh, you're manscaping now. I didn't realize you guys did. Big tough guy like you manscaping.
Honey, do I look sexy in these?
Well,
I don't want to say.
It's a service to the opposite sex, believe me.
Oh, yeah. There's a good comedian online. And look at him up. It's only a 10-minute video, but you'll howl your brains off. And it's called "If You're Married, You Win." It's on YouTube. Just watch that 10 minutes. You'll laugh your head off. It's just funny.
I always thought if you're divorced, you win.
Got one, but the hot crazy matrix. Google that on YouTube.
The hot crazy what?
The hot crazy matrix.
Oh, okay.
Google that on YouTube.
Well, this went south quickly.
Yeah. It's casual free for all Friday on Squatch Talk.
Well, one of the things I liked about last summer was certainly the best times to go out, especially to areas that are relatively easy to reach, is the middle of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are good times because people are out on the weekends, and then you have that much more to deal with.
Which runs into a big problem with trying to collaborate with lots of people, because it seems like everybody seems to be off on the weekends, which makes collaboration hard, and unless you like plan stuff out long ways. And I'm self-employed, so I'm able to dictate my schedule a little bit better. But I do agree, weekdays are definitely the way to go. I mean, that's when all the forest is free, no noise.
Well,
Yeah.
I've always been one to pattern people first on a map. I figure out where they're going, what they're doing, what days are there, what days are not, and you'll find an area that they don't go. Okay, there'll be an area that is, semi-habitated sometimes, and then areas that they don't go, and the areas they don't go, then that's where I actually start doing my due diligence and looking and finding a place to research and staying away from those areas.
Yeah.
I've heard some pretty interesting logic from an interesting person once that, like, basically said, we'll come here, if you come here on a Tuesday, it's going to be different. They'll be around or whatever, right? I was like, that actually makes sense. Like, somehow they can maybe pattern people. I don't understand how they would know the days of the week and they were really in tune with the phases of the moon, which you can't always see. I don't know.
Well,
but
you can count. It's like, okay, so I got 4 nights, and then all these people show up. Another 4 nights, 5 nights, all these people show up. It's the patterns that we create by going out there.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that brings up a good a good point. I asked it a while back. I'm not sure if I got an answer. Beings that I've witnessed use a 1 knock with a meaning, a 2 knock with a meaning, a 3 knock with a meaning. Does that mean they can count? If they can count.
Yeah.
Huh?
If that's your option.
I said, do they use their foot when they count? Like a horse.
Well, I mean, if just that witness and just that behavior witnessed and the hypothesis driven, I think they can count.
Or have an understanding of adding and subtracting things, or have an understanding of that.
That would be
at least. And I think that could very well support what Brent said about, okay, these 3 days are busy, humans are in the woods, and the next 4 aren't. And deer know when season comes in too. Anybody that's ever hunted knows after the first shot, first weekend, they know. And during the week is the best time to hunt. Weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday isn't.
Well, that's funny because the muley show up here in the fall, and then in the summertime, the whitetails show up, and every day they're always sitting on the same sun-baked green sides of the hillsides over here. So there's a different predictable pattern to them. I just wish we could have that type of information about them so we could see them more readily. I just think we're so back in the 50s still. This whole thing, it drives me nuts.
Well, I was elk hunting Bridger Pass in southeast Wyoming, and everybody that hunts up there, they go up there in jeeps and they glass and they try to get ahead of a herd and shoot one. Well, we were up there glassing, and you couldn't get within 600 yards of an antelope, and we didn't see an elk or a mule. But everybody leaves out around 1 o'clock in the afternoon because no one wants to be way back there in the dark because it's scary. Well, I'm not scared. I'm trained. I'm not worried about being in the dark. Except for the person that was guiding me. He made me question a few things, but I was armed. But, about, the last 2 hours a day, you see these mule deer filing down off the top of the mountains, coming down through the brush. And there's herds of elk coming through you know, because they knew that people left after about 1 o'clock. They didn't hunt in the evening time. So here comes all these, I mean, hundreds of mule deer. And I probably saw 200 mule deer, 350 elk, and a dozen, not elk, antelope, and then maybe a dozen elk, because they knew what time of day people left.
Great.
Wow.
Okay, we running out of steam or what?
It's Friday. I'm tired.
I have to work at 6, get up at 6 again tomorrow morning. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's
I'm
I love where I
sick.
work. It's great where I work. So
Yeah. I'm still gonna be snoring. I'm headed to the river tomorrow night for after some 50 and 60-pound catfish. So
nice.
I've got to go. I've got to go shopping tomorrow because my gear isn't going to handle that. I've got to get a larger fishing rod.
Are you not a noodler? You don't noodle?
I don't hand fish unless I absolutely have to. I'll spear fish, but I won't hand fish because down here there's turtles the size of me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They could take your hand off, you know.
Mhm.
And also water moccasin. I mean, these people down here that stick their hands in places, you know, y'all just must want to be on YouTube real bad.
I would never do that. I just couldn't do that. It's like you're sticking your hand into an unknown. It's like, man, that's only one hand that you have. If something needs that off, and
you use your left hand if you're right-handed. But what I call noodling, I do noodling. But what I do is I take the pool noodles and I cut them 18 inches, and I tether it with a 9/0 hook and a brim, little brim, and I tie them in a way when a fish hits it, that noodle stands straight up. And even if they've been there a while and the noodle's laying down in the dark, you can hit it with a Q-beam, and when you hit that fish with a Q-beam, that one has a fish on it, it'll stand straight up and wave at you. You just go over and get him.
Fishing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be putting my hand in any of those holes where they're pulling out those things. That's for sure.
Hey, I pulled up a turtle on a trot line. He was eating a 5-pound catfish, and was on the line, and I pull him up, and his head's on one side of a boat, and his tail is on the other side of the boat, under the boat. Okay,
gotta get a bigger boat.
5-foot boat, 5-foot wide boat.
What?
And the
what
guy
turtles
behind
you have down there? You're talking
and the
snapping turtle?
Yeah, he's so old. He actually had moss growing on his hair, on the top of his head. It looked like hair in the current.
Oh.
And the guy in the back of the boat says, "Oh, bring him in. They're good eating." And I looked at this guy, and I pulled my knife out and cut the line. I said, "He can have that catfish." I'm not. He's bigger than us, dude. You know.
Yeah.
Do you have a bass boat?
I did at one time. I had a tide craft, but I sold it. But I got an aluminum boat that I fish out of. But we run what we call yo-yos, jugs, noodles, trot lines, and we pole fish. This depends on what I'm after. If I'm after meat, I'm running trot lines and noodles, because I can produce 150, 200 pounds of meat in a night. But
You should do up some videos showing you doing this.
Yeah, that's
Good
it.
examples.
okay.
That'd be cool to watch.
Yeah.
Some of the primitive living skills, because that's something Bigfoot might do.
Well, this is modern. This is modern.
Some of it, but still some of the primitive aspects.
Yeah, I used to have a primitive fishing kit with a woven silk leader with linen thread with a round ball pounded into you mash a round ball and take a punch and punch a hole through it so you can tie it on your leader as a weight, and then about 50 foot of linen thread, and then wrapped around a piece of antler, similar to that. And You'll spool it off and get to spinning and throw it out there and catch fish. Hand forged hook. But guy talked me out of it.
Yeah.
So now we're fish
But-
squatching. Is that what we're doing?
But it's always good to multitask while you're out there. Bigfooting.
Well, that's
had
true. You should be doing other hobbies while you're out there. That helps you relax
Exactly.
and makes you forget why you're there, and maybe something else will happen. So
Yeah. Well, if you're just
Well,
acting
and-
casual, like a regular person, they might find that interesting. I don't know.
Well, there's reports of people fishing having rocks thrown at them while they're fishing or being
yeah.
yelled at when fishing. And I had one walk right behind me, watch me fish for a little while. It's something about a fishing pole that, I don't think I think it's more of they understand what we're doing, but they're trying to see what we're doing it with, because all they got is their hands, or at the very most a spear.
Well, it's like that sighting Thomas investigated where they were fishing and they put them up. They put all the fish on the fish line, or the fish. I can't remember what it's called. Fish hook thing, hung it up in a tree there. The thing came running by, grabbed it, and took off with it. So that would be great to watch something like that take place. That's for sure.
Yeah, I could see them be more interested in like the fishing pole aspect, because you're getting food, which is a great interest to them, and how you're doing it is something that something they probably want to mimic. Have you ever thought about just leaving a fishing pole out there?
What I thought about doing, I haven't done it yet. Matter of fact, COVID shut it down back when I was going to do this. I was going to go to this pond, and I know what circles around me. What I was going to do is going to catch first fish I catch. I was going to walk downwind 40 yards and break off a limb and stick that tree stick that fish on the tree, and then go back to the pond and keep fishing. And when I'm done, if I go back and it's gone, if I'm paying attention and I'm hearing walking around out there, if I can go and track from where that fish was, track that individual back to where he went, I think that's
a good idea. Maybe we should just get Jay Birch out there, get him to start cooking, and we'll use him as bait.
That's what we're doing next month.
Yeah, I'd love to
At
go
Pumpkin
eat some
Lake.
of the food he does.
Oh man, I'm gonna love that. I'm gonna try and start. It's like I feel like I'm going to Thanksgiving or something. Like the weekend of Thanksgiving. I'm probably gonna come back 10 pounds heavier.
Take a honey bun and put it on your head and just sit in the dark.
Yeah, see what happens.
Isn't that one of the stories from Bumping Lake, though? Rocks getting thrown at canoes or boats?
I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of different activity out there. I haven't heard the rocks being thrown at canoes, but it wouldn't surprise me with all that people report out there. So it's, you look on it on a map, looks like a primo area for Bigfoot. I mean, I've never been there, so it's a bonus. Be fun if Richter goes too, huh?
It would be fun going with Rick.
It would not be a dull time. I'd videotape it too.
Not at all.
Videotape the whole experience.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally.
I think Rocket Shirt Pat should fly out there and go with you.
Yeah, that would be cool, Pat. Man, you'd have a lot of fun out here. It's the wild.
Yeah, eventually, maybe. That's the one part of the country I haven't been to, is the Pacific Northwest. Not the one part, but like I've never been to Montana over towards the Pacific Northwest. I've never been in that part of the country. I've been in every other part but that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. Anything east of the Cascade Mountain Range is kind of desolate, so not much going on there in the United States part.
Yeah, I think Salt Lake is the furthest I've been west. Lots of elk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not elk, antelope.
No.
Antelope. Yeah, I swear I was on the plane going, get out of the way, get out of the way. These antelope all over grazing this.
I used to live in southern Idaho, and there's herds upon herds of antelope there.
Yeah, I flew I flew into Bob's Hair Care Salon and Tire Center / airport.
It's a different world out there. Like for where I live, it's definitely a different world. But then if you go down to the southwestern United States, that's a different world too. All the desert area and all that stuff, different world.
The Atlanta airport actually has a tram.
Yeah,
that was cool. The Atlanta airport.
You can walk almost as fast as that tram. I've been there.
I'd rather ride the tram. I sit there. I had a lot of fun with that, with the moving walkways, the flat escalator. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah. moving sidewalk, moving walkways. So I guess you've never been
I'm a redneck.
Like we've had those for 30 years, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm behind the times a little.
You never flown through Atlanta?
Yeah, I flew through Atlanta. I got on the tram.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have the moving sidewalk, which is weird. Yeah, if you walk down the moving sidewalk, you feel like you're running, but you're exerting the energy of walking, and it feels bizarre.
Yeah.
It just feels. I'll never forget that feeling. It's a very bizarre feeling to be walking, but feel like it looks like you're running.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what the hell? What show is this again?
This is the Fishing Travel Sasquatch channel with the apple between his cheeks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is my pitch for the travel channel.
Great.
Yeah,
totally.
Well, anybody here if Expedition Bigfoot is renewed for a third season yet? Because I know we're all waiting to find out about that. What was their big DNA discovery? They found chimp DNA. What was it? Something?
Official?
Help me out here.
That they're renewed for a third season? Really?
No, I'm asking if anybody's heard if they are.
Oh, yeah, doubt it. I highly doubt that's going to happen.
That's what I thought about a second season, but hey, there we are.
Well, if I knew where they were filming that.
I didn't think they were going to get renewed for a second season.
I'm really surprised that they jumped ship halfway through the season, left Kentucky or wherever, to go up to the Pacific Northwest and fall for the helicopters at the local Air Force. Oh my God, there's Black Hawk helicopters. I'm like, yeah, well, you're right by an airport, air base.
There's an air base.
Expect, man. I got fighter jets flying over my head, 400 feet, out in the middle of nowhere, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, out at our property, we get an air show every day.
Yeah.
Really?
We need a Star Trek emoji.
Hey, I'm already in halfway through second season of Star Trek Discovery.
Oh.
You're behind, man.
If you made it through the first season, you're doing pretty good.
It was a struggle. It really was. I was like, man, I watched Picard. I'm like, okay, it's nice to see the crew again, whatever. But yeah, Discovery is really a hard one to really stomach.
Was he in a walker yet? I mean, I just want to know.
Might as well. It's like, oh my God, don't hurt him.
Yeah, I've been watching the ones with Chris Pine in it.
Oh yeah, the alternate Kelvin timeline, as they call it.
Yeah.
I once dropped $600 at a Star Trek convention, a 2-day Star Trek convention. Like $600, yeah, like meeting and greeting and getting autographs and pictures and stuff. I got pictures of me and all the Star Trek characters that I like. A lot of them off the TNG series, so it's fun.
Oh,
what about the two green girls with tails? With the tails?
I don't know about the tail ones. I didn't see them there.
That was
there was a lot of cool Cosmo cosplay going on there.
Exactly. The after party.
No, it was cool. It had like the entire TNG crew there, except for like Captain Picard and Geordi.
That's pretty cool. That's not bad. Yeah.
I did some trading a long time ago for 4 rough draft scripts from Babylon 5. And then there was a convention here where J. Michael Straczynski was doing an autograph line. So I had one script, Kim had one script, and we went through the line twice. And he sees the script and he starts flipping through it. He's trying to figure out whose script it was. So the second time I was through, he asked, so did you pay money for these or did you trade for these? He was happy if they're traded for. He doesn't like people selling them.
Bigfoot Whisperer, I don't use night vision. I truly believe, without a doubt, they see IR. As far as thermal goes, I suggest a Trijicon, and it's a lot of money for a handheld thermal.
Yep.
But it's great. It has great resolution. It really does. I don't own one, but I've used them.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to try to get out and do some range testing with this. This is the little Seek Thermal Pro that I've been using. Again, I'm not using it for high-res pictures of Bigfoot from a mile away. I just want to know if there's something big lumbering around the camp and if it's a bear or a cat or possum, coon, whatever, situational awareness.
I'm going to tell you what, the ones for the iPhones out to about 60, 70 yards are good. You know, you plug it into on top of your iPhone and it has an app that you have to download and use. We tested one.
Yeah.
It worked very well, but it drains the battery. You got 1 hour of battery with that.
Yeah.
Steve's investigating. Look at him.
Yeah, you can get them for
I'm just answering Lockbeard.
Oh,
$299, a couple $100 you can have one.
yeah, a lot of good night to a lot of you guys who are saying you're taking off there. So
I don't blame them.
yeah, well, I'm gonna get going in 3 minutes here too. Yes, we did.
Yeah. Me as well. So yeah, let's wrap it up, I guess.
Sure. Good to see you guys again. Sorry I haven't been around too much.
Hey, we're just pets.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to apologize in advance. I don't know how much time I'm going to have over the next few weeks.
All right. Well, we'll take you when we can get you, Steve. For sure.
Yeah. You know what'll happen, Steve, is everything will lie flat for me for the next 2 weeks, and you'll be as busy I've been because we haven't talked for 3 weeks. So we usually talk once a week for sure online, so on cam. So.
Well, I can certainly take some breaks for a while, but I'm definitely going to be working a few 10 or 12-hour days once in a while.
Well, that's good. I'll catch you late at night.
But then I'll have money for hobby.
Yay!
Yeah.
I work 3,600 hours a year. I don't feel sorry for you.
Well, fine.
Well, wow.
Okay. Have a good night, you guys.
Good to see you, Leon.
Peace out, man.
Hope to see you this summer sometime. Be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's coming to Georgia first.
Yeah, that'd be cool
Leon.
to. I've always wanted to go out bigfooting with Thomas Steenberg. He's one of the people that I really, truly, look up to in this subject. Is somebody that's like, wow, he's got a good perspective on it. He's balanced. He's good and balanced, which is good. Because you kind of need it. You don't want somebody who's too overly skeptical that overlooks evidence, and somebody who's will fall for anything. Got to have a good balance in there. So hopefully, I don't know. I'd love to. That'd be like my dream Bigfooting thing.
I would so like to have all of us on top of Mount Rainier or Mount St. Helens.
That would be
On top of
awesome.
Why the hell would we have to be on top of it? That's quite an expedition.
Well, not
Well-
with Mount St. Helens. It's if you get a permit, you're good to go. But you can go off season, and there's no permits required. It's not too bad. It's actually really beautiful up there. I haven't had the opportunity to hike it yet.
Oh,
But-
yeah,
I want to hike about 3 or 4 miles out and just sit there and do knock all night and see what comes up. Just sit there and
It's a
knock.
great area
Everybody-
for Bigfoot.
There are
Everybody
definitely
quiet.
definitely some good places in Gifford Pinchot for that.
Wasn't that where Anton Ranch was too?
No, that's down in Oregon.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was in Oregon. That's right. Where the grizzly bears are, huh? Yeah.
I don't know. There's some like 20 miles down the road from me. There's some Bigfoot for sure. So
Hey, I actually got going out looking for Bigfoot because I found out I lived in such like a hot spot area. It's like, geez, man, it's like I feel somewhat obligated. I have to go out and go find Bigfoot or something, which was really convenient, trying to want to see one. That you live near an area where they're supposed to be everywhere, apparently.
Is it
Where I
weird?
go.
I miss Leon already. Damn it, Leon.
yeah, I mean he was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Midnight. He
Yeah.
turned into Cinderella's going home.
No, he's still 9 o'clock here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got dinner getting cold.
All right, we'll
We'll just hop in your transporter spaceship right behind you, man. Get yourself there.
Wouldn't dinner be a reconstituted pill or something?
Well,
Yeah,
there is a fun thing because I can freeze the camera. So if I mute myself and freeze the camera, it just looks like I'm stuck.
I can freeze the camera. I can barely hook the show.
Doesn't work here.
No. If I click that, yeah, that stops the camera. But I have a feature on XSplit where I can pause the camera.
There's some high tech stuff there, Patrick. You and I don't know.
Yeah, we're peasants.
Oh,
Right.
Lockbeard. Yeah. Sometime you'll have to reach me on Facebook. I'll tell you about the Peter and Andreas story from Babylon 5.
Were they brother and sister? No, that's a Game of Thrones.
Peter
Sorry.
Peter Jurassic and Andreas Katsoulis, two of the really popular characters. There was a fake script written for them that went around, and yeah, there were some hijinks with it. And
All right. I think that's it, guys. Any
All right.
final thoughts? No, yes, no, yes.
Final thoughts. Nope.
I'm surprised. I'm disappointed. Jeez. I mean, what the
I think
hell
it's
did I come
something.
on here for?
I think it's
I'm looking
something.
for insight and inspiration, guys. Come on. God.
Yeah. That's great.
Right.
Well,
Fair
it's been a fun talk, and chat's been pretty wild with the apples and the t-shirt stuff. And
Yeah, the Apple
And,
thing came from true creativity right there.
yeah, I mean that's just
Who
You
knew
know-
you could do that with an Apple?
I didn't.
Apparently
I
you
had no
can.
idea. I had no idea, and I'm not going to try that.
Yeah, it's not something I think I'm going to attempt. But
nor the cold beer that Leon suggested.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sure Peter Kane will try that. So we can rely on that experiment happening sometime in the future.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I'm
That's
excited.
I'm glad you are. I sure hope you do some unmanned experiments and have lots of
I will.
success with it.
I will.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to get to the whole thing this next time around, but I'll try some different experiments. Try them at night. Try to knock the single knocks, and just do what I can to be cool enough that they would want to come check me out. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'll play some Yanni or something. I don't know. Anybody ever tried that?
I don't know.
Nope.
I'm normally relegated to whatever station will come in. It's usually either talk or some very antiquated country music. So,
Like it's antiquated, huh? Antiquated. Big word. Important word, though.
I
I
don't know.
like
I
was
think
trying.
that song would be interesting. I'd think that would be something they probably haven't heard before.
The what sound?
Whale song.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Next thing you know, we start hearing well sounds out in the woods.
I know,
Jesus
right?
Christ, what's going on?
Wouldn't that be weird?
It started like a whole phenomenon of the Bigfoot mimicking whales out there.
And
I just had a-
next month, you'll hear from one of the Northwest Bigfoot groups. They have audio recordings of whale song in the woods from Bigfoot.
It's the elusive Pacific Northwest tree whale.
I'm having flashbacks of was it Down Periscope with Kelsey Grammer? Yep.
All right.
Yeah, no, actually, the whale thing is actually an interesting thing to try out because it's a natural sound that's rhythmic and harmonic and nice to listen to. Better than Yanni, probably.
I just hope you don't turn them on.
I know, huh?
Okay, now, old Yanni or new Yanni?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, you definitely want to watch out with turning on the Bigfoot with the well sound because that's be bad. That's when you want somebody else to probably do that experiment first. Try it out.
Come on, Pat, we're dying here.
Night. Appreciate it, guys. Hit
Peace
that
out.
like and subscribe. See ya.
Wobble wobble.